most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin aka MMAnomaly, Emiliano aka Jive Turkey Nano, and Alex Pip aka Pip's Piano Tips.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, aka MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, are the co-hosts with the most. We're talking about a Jive Turkey Nano and a Pip's Piano Tips, folks. If you're not already locked into both of these guys on Twitter and YouTube, make sure you do so now. Before we jump into this double feature, it kind of feels fitting, right, that we had somewhat of a double feature this week with the MVP and UFC, considering we have no UFC coming up this upcoming week, right? At least we got twice the bang this weekend, or maybe not. We're going to get into it. But before we do, I'll start with you, Pip. How's the week treating you so far? You got a case of the Mondays, or you still reeling from Sunday?
I'm good. We had, two good cards to talk about. One that I would say, not so good, but definitely one that was fun to watch. So howdy fellas, how you doing, Jimbo's old lady? Nice to have you in the chat. Shout out mom. Doing good. We had two good cards to talk about, but so far I'm getting ready for some storms that are coming in for the rest of the week, but I'm off on Friday, so I'm treating it like the Tuesday blues, so I'm doing all right. Nano, how you doing, brother?
Hey, great to see you, brother. And yeah, rooting for you over there. I'm doing fantastic. Another day in paradise, as we like to say. It's sunny, it's hot here in San Francisco, and it was a violent weekend. It was multiple events here. I think overall, not necessarily the largest of names, though there was a large announcement as well, breaking news, official news. So again, hey man, when it rains it pours, and I'm excited to break this one down with y'all. Let's go.
Definitely excited to break this one down, or rather these ones down with you guys. It was a fun weekend, man. It was a fun weekend. I'll be honest with you. Every 1 to 2 years, me and the old lady, we try and go to this certain spa that we really like in the middle of the desert, and that was this past weekend. And because it was a doubleheader, I asked her to bring her tablet. I brought my tablet, and at the edge of the mineral soaking pool, we had both tablets set up, one playing MVP and one playing UFC. And man, it was a good weekend for me. It was a fantastic little doubleheader. I was keeping up with both fight cards the entire time.
Barely.
But I did my best. I really did. Happy early birthday, Pip. Let's go, bro.
Hey, let's go.
Bro, wait, Pip, you didn't tell us your birthday was coming up?
Federal
It's coming.
fucking prison.
Okay, brother. Come on, dog. When's the
My
birthday? When's the
apologies.
birthday?
I'm looking forward to it. It's on the 25th of May. I'm gonna be 1 year older, so I'm gonna be closer to the age range of this show. So I'm happy to. I'm growing up with you guys. I appreciate you guys having me here.
You'll be 1 year less younger than me. I like that for me, if I'm being candid, So yeah, man, happy early birthday.
Appreciate it.
I hope it's a great one, man. I hope it's the beginning of the best chapter of your life so far.
You and me
until the next one, right? Look, let's go. Do you think we should start off with MVP and then work our way into UFC here?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So in the headliner, as we like to start off with, of MVP, we had Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. And I got to be honest with you, this is one of the very few times where I can truly say it somehow went exactly as I expected and not at all as I expected. You know what I mean? I thought Ronda Rousey was going to go out there and beat her. I thought she was going to go out there and get an armbar. I said this last week. If you want to go back and listen, folks, please, we'd enjoy the watch hours. But I digress. I thought, I mean, geez, dude, I'm just going to say exactly what I said the night of. I looked over at my significant other and I said this. That felt very greedy of Ronda. That just felt like a greedy performance. You're getting paid $2 million, right? I believe Jed Mishu of MMA Fighting on SBN did the math, and she made a little over $190,000 per second for that fight. Solid payday. But with all due respect, the fans deserve more than that. You're going on this, crusade throughout the weeks leading up to the fight, saying that you're trying to build a competitor for the UFC. A fast knockout is fun. A fast submission, typically fun. But a fast submission against a girl that hasn't fought in 17 years, that most people are only tuning into because they want to see what she's got, and you don't even let her land a strike or attempt one before you shoot on her, it just felt greedy. So if I had to sum up the fight in one word, I would say it was greedy. Nano, I'll pass it to you first. And before you give your breakdown, I'm going to give you a brain teaser. How would you sum the fight up in one word if you had to?
I guess predictable. I think a lot of people would say underwhelming for sure. Not to take too much meat off the bone here for our boy Pitt, but those are two that come to mind for sure. Mine and then the general public, I think. But yeah, and appreciate it, brother. And shout out Jimbo's old lady. She does more than 17 seconds than I do all year. Yeah. Couldn't agree more with you there, Jimbo. Made more in 17 seconds and less than a minute than some people do annually. That's just, I guess, the world we're in. Shout out John Down. What up? Usually I bet
That's
on
tough, bro. That's tough. He said, usually I bet on women's MMA fights to end and finish. But this past card, I took a break from betting. And of course, two of them ended in finish. Man. At least one of the two finishes was very exciting. Like the capsule lock was dope as fuck. We're going to get into that a little bit later into the show. But I digress. No, sorry to jump in there.
No, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the alley-oop there. And shout out John Dong for the commentary. Go ahead and hop in. The water's warm. Yeah, I mean, I think my initial gut reaction, just to the whole card itself, I was pleasantly surprised. It felt as close as anything has felt to a UFC level event. And that's even better than a Showtime boxing event. That's even better than some of the other Netflix events we've seen. I think Jake Paul, I gotta tip the cap, man. From a business perspective, I like what I'm seeing. Okay, MVP Productions, they've obviously built this name in the boxing arena now with their first MVP MMA event, numero uno. I thought I was pleasantly surprised. It did feel a little bit more WWE-esque. I think as Gina is walking out, as Ronda's walking out, it's the big names, it's the hype and the big intros, which, hey, I'm for it, right? I mean, if you're a WWE fan, I'm sure you can't help but appreciate it. But as a purist of the game, I think there wasn't too much to complain about. The pace was solid. The fights, like we knew going into it, let's take it with a grain of salt. I mean, fun matchups on the main card down the stretch there, but we knew it was probably going to be short, quick knockouts, things like that, and that's what we got. I think it was pretty predictable. All the way to Ronda getting the quick finish. I mean, I think we all wanted to see something. Even if it were just to throw some hands, like getting into a little bit of an exchange, but I think at that stage in their careers, I don't know if either of them really wanted to mess around with fire at all. So it was just, though I appreciate everything leading up to it, and even the Nate Diaz Mike Perry fight, like, boy, that was fun. Robert, what I say, Rebellis, aka Roberto, the Spain really brought the pain. And Ngannou beat a tin can. I think overall, like, it was what we expected, but pleasantly surprised with the performance of Jake Paul and the production crew here. So shout out. You got something to say? I can see you, MMAnomaly. Go ahead.
We're gonna go through the rest of the fights. I just want to make sure we stay on the Rousey fight.
Oh shit, my bad. I thought we were just gonna
my guy. Fast and the Furious 1. I mean, too soon, Junior. Don't hit the NOS yet.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't.
We're gonna get there.
It was a good, great event production wise. And Ronda, well, it was 50 seconds. I went over my quota for the fight. It was 17 seconds long. I'm way over. Pip, what you get?
You and me both.
No, I mean, just to kind of like piggyback on that a little bit. I mean, Ronda Rousey, she did her thing. If I had to sum it up in one word, I'm just going to say mismatch. And that's kind of what it felt like a lot of the card was, which is essentially a whole bunch of mismatches, put together on one fight. And I think it did feel like it had a little bit of UFC-esque to it, just because all these guys are former or cut UFC fighters. So a lot of this was just, older competition that it was. And I mean, compared to this week's UFC card, I look at them both and I'm still thinking, one was decent, one was not great, but fun to watch. And the one that was not great, but fun to watch was the MVP card. I mean, production-wise, promotional-wise, they did a good job selling it, and it's what the casuals are all talking about it right now. I listen to a sports radio every now and then in the morning, and they usually talk about Reds baseball and the Cincinnati Bengals, because that's what's around me. Today, they talked about that MVP promotion a little bit, and I was kind of astonished. Granted, it's kind of wild to hear even, these small, local sports broadcasters talk about it. And it's making a lot of pop for it. But I mean, this went exactly kind of as I thought. I thought we were going to get a vintage Ronda Rousey performance. And it was kind of fun to watch as well, because I had this fight on after the UFC fights were done. And me and my wife were watching we had the family over and everything. And this was the first time that she ever saw Ronda Rousey come back. And I was like, this is going to be what Ronda Rousey is known for. And what happened in about 17 seconds, she got a double leg off of a leg kick. She went right in the top mount, started beating her up from the ground, and got an arm bar. Took her 17 seconds, and that's really all it was. But that's what happened. The whole card was just a whole bunch of mismatches, and I thought this fight was exactly that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it felt like and I'm not original for saying this. I heard multiple people say this online across the Twitterverse and the YouTube verse and every other verse, right? This felt like a very old Strikeforce card, didn't it? Like it was just set up to have knockouts. It was set up to have early finishes and set up to have one-way odds. But can I say, for once, when it comes to the first fight of the night breakdown, Nano really just doing his best Alex Pip impression here. Taking so much meat off the bone, trying to jump into the next fucking 3 fights. My God, bro, leave some fucking meat over there on that leg.
And the fact that it's live for you, just audio listeners, it's worth going to YouTube, liking, subscribing as well, commenting. But that is a real life. I mean, I got the tank top and everything. That's not premeditated. That was in the moment. Appreciate the production crew, aka MMAnomaly. Let's go.
I try to stay on top of it, bro. Try to have fun with it. Keep the people on their feet, so to speak. Now, we do this for the UFC fights. We also talk all the time ad nauseum, to an extent, about the fact that UFC desperately needs a competitor. MVP is trying their best to provide that competitor. They're trying to do everything that PFL couldn't do, everything that Bellator couldn't do. PFL together couldn't do it. And ONE FC, I mean, they're going bankrupt. They're suing their own fighters right now. You can look it up. Rodtang is getting sued by ONE Championship. The lawsuit started happening before his title fight that he lost. Coincidence? I think not. All right. I mean, come on. So we do it for the UFC. I think it's only fair that we do it for MVP if we're going to talk about these fights. So Ronda Rousey essentially hung up the gloves. She said that she wants to get to making babies. I believe Pips Piano Tips mom out here pointed it out. I think she just wants to get to having those babies. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Jimbo's old lady. Let's get it, Nano, nom nom. So we hungry. So she's making babies. But Gina, after the fight, she smiled. Because, I mean, I'd smile too if I lost the fight and won $1 million in 17 seconds. Arm, take the arm, bitch. I fucking have surgery. I don't care. $1 million? Let's go. I digress. Jumping back in here. Walking back in, as the kids say. Do you think she still wants to fight? Because she seemed very frustrated. She said I didn't get to do anything. I had so much of that I wanted to let out, and I didn't get to let any of it out. Can I throw a name at you boys? I don't know if you did your research on this. I feel like I'm pulling the rug out from underneath you in a very rough way here. I can see you both Googling stuff right now, Pip.
I'm like click.
Holly Holm versus Gina Carano. It'd at least be a stand-up fight. Gina would be able to throw a couple strikes. She took 0 damage in the fight, so you could run it in 6 fucking months. And Holly's been active in boxing, so you know that she's in shape. What are your thoughts? Is there any appetite for that at all? Or do you just want to see Gina go back to being canceled in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, if that's if you want to put that together, Holly Holm versus Gina, I'm not mad at that. I kind of thought this was more of a spectacle sport, so I was almost thinking with the, put her in there with the Catch Me Outside girl. I mean, something like that where, that maybe they've got a little similar boundaries there. But Holly Holm, I'm all for it.
That girl made $1 million in her first day of being 18 years old when she made an OnlyFans account. She doesn't need to box or do MMA. They
both got to figure it out then.
People on OnlyFans caught her outside. They caught her inside. They caught her in various places. They just had to pay per play, as they say. I'm gonna stop.
How about that? Yeah,
How about that?
I think Holly Holm is probably a more appropriate matchup. They're both 44 years young, and yeah, MVP MMA would probably be the place for it. And I think I don't want to call it more of the gimmick-esque fights, but I think they should lean in on the matchups and the names and make things as interesting as possible. If it's not going to be what the UFC does week in and week out, which is what we appreciate. They don't care as much about the names. Obviously, some main events or different things like that factor in, but it's always good on good, best of the best versus the best of the best. And I think I would rather see 2 younger fighters get a shot, or even amateurs or people young in their career that can flourish and maybe grow from that exposure, as opposed to something like a Gina and Holly, one time event past their prime. It's been tough. I think I'm a little jaded. I'm tired of seeing all these legends just kind of have that last image as like a shell of themselves, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm being dramatic here. Maybe a little mellow.
I don't want to see either of them fight either, if I'm being completely candid with you. I don't think it's a fight that we need to see. Pip, do you want to see either of them fight again, or are you just not necessarily happy, not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just kind of whelmed and ready to watch the ship sail?
That's more or less where I am. I mean, I think a lot of these people already had their time in the sport, and then to kind of just come back, and I don't really know what the motivation is. I mean, does anyone actually care to see Gina fight? Miss Mary, that is a perfect point. No. To sum it up, no, I don't really care to fight. The only reason I watched her fight, I mean, it was because of Ronda Rousey, and her performance was exactly that sound effect. It was exactly just a very shitty performance. Wasn't able to do anything, and against perfect, right? Yeah, and against a former retired UFC champ. That's all that happened was 17 seconds. So no, I can't say that I care too much.
I love that. I completely agree with you. I was just throwing that name out for funsies, and solely for funsies, right? Like I don't want to see either of them fight again. Ronda, go make babies. Gina, go not make movies or TV shows. And with that being said, let's move into the co-main event, which was really the people's main event here. Okay, folks. And it went pretty much exactly as we thought it was going to go. A bit of a
fatality
in all rights by Mike Perry, the platinum one. I'm not going to give my breakdown first because I did that in the last fight. That would be rude. That would be selfish. That would, dare I say, be greedy. Almost as greedy as Ronda Rousey's 17-second performance. What I will do, though, it will be a little Ronda Rousey-esque and be greedy and just throw this out there. If we are to see Mike Perry fight in MVP specifically again, not bare knuckle boxing, because I don't want this for the other guy I'm going to say. But somebody I don't necessarily need to see in the octagon or the hexagon for that matter, that I'd love to see get a big payday in general. It was supposed to happen a long time ago in the UFC, boys, in the UFC, and it got canceled at UFC 255, Figueiredo versus Perez, 2020. Talking about a Mike Perry versus Robbie Lawler next for MVP. That could headline a card. And it would do a lot more than 17 fucking seconds. So, Nano, tell the people, what were your thoughts on the Stockton kid versus the Platinum one?
Man, a lot of hype. I was excited about the fight. Boy, was it a bloody affair. I think that's every Nate Diaz fight these days. Mike Perry is just a younger, sharper, more violent, more durable guy. I don't want to say more durable. I shouldn't say that because Nate's durable and tough as nails, although
no, I agree with you. You're right in saying that. Nate is very durable, but that's a problem for Nate. Because of his durability, he has scar tissue. One day when Nate Diaz passes away, God rest his soul, his scar tissue will be studied in labs. It's just insane, bro.
I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, it's just like he gets cut and it's just leaking. I mean, a lot of it's who knows? But what I will say is he's a dog, right? And he showed every bit of who he is and went down on his shield, as we like to say. And that's all we can ask for these guys. But Mike Perry, I mean, again, 34 years young. I mean, I don't know if he necessarily showed a lot in the grappling or wrestling or jiu-jitsu realm. I mean, in fact, he even mentioned Nate had him kind of worried and he wanted to avoid that area. So I don't know how he would do against some of the top level in the UFC, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in the octagon, I guess, if I'm being honest. And I guess a lot of other things factor in terms of where he'd fight, things like that. But Mike Perry is someone that you could throw out into the UFC and throw him on a main card right away. Like he's got the namesake value and everything, but it sounded like he was trying to set up a fight with Jake Paul in MMA. I think if Jake's ever going to consider something like that, that would be a fun matchup. Mike Perry is violent. He's great in the clinch with his elbows and everything. But I guess other than that, I don't know. I mean, I do like Robbie Lawler. If I had to throw another name out there, again, we're thinking retired vets that can go get a solid payday. Fuck, and I wonder if the UFC would do it, but what about no, he's already on the secret juice. But there's someone that just recently retired. And a wise man once said diamonds are forever. MMAnomaly. What do you think? Does your boy want to get back in there?
I'm not mad at it, bro. I'm not mad at it.
Dustin Poirier, for the record.
I'd like to see Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz. That's the fight.
That's the main event. Yeah, that's the main event.
He called him out again. Dustin Poirier did. He's like, if he gives me the green light, I'll enter the testing pool tomorrow. I'll fight him at 155, 170, pick a weight class. And I'll beat that ass. But he said it won't be stopped by a doctor. I'm going to put him straight out.
I like that.
So that's the one I want to see, brother. I mean, that's the one I really want to see. But if we want to see a real slaughterhouse for Nate Diaz, yes, let's give Dustin Poirier, Mike Perry, fucking pay these boys money, and let's watch a real competitive fight. And if we want to just, watch Nate Diaz get beat up again, with all the respect I say as a Nate Diaz fan, Nick Diaz talks shit about GSP for a long time. GSP's been retired for 5-6 years. George St. Pierre in the MVP cage, getting a fat payday against Nate Diaz, little brother, getting a chance to avenge the big brother. Could be fun. Now they're the same weight class. Do I think it will be competitive? No. Will I watch? Yeah, absolutely. Pip, what were your thoughts on this co-main event? Or rather, the people's main event?
The people's main event was definitely what we were here for. This was definitely a fight where we had this one made the most sense that was on the entire card. We have Mike Perry, who's kind of been doing well outside the UFC, and Nate Diaz, who's just always very fun to watch, and definitely, like you said, Nato, I mean, puts on one of the bloodiest fights. I mean, we got that corner stoppage. My favorite part of the fight was definitely when Mike Perry kind of had Nate Diaz's back, holding up. They were both on the feet or whatever, and he throws that kick, and I'm sure we've all seen it. And Mike Perry couldn't even help himself. He had to laugh at it too. He said, "This shit's ridiculous, dude." So it was a very fun fight, a very bloody fight. I mean, as far for what I want to see next I think Nate Diaz versus any of the guys you mentioned, unfortunately, I just think he gets slaughtered. I don't think he is the same guy that he used to be. I think even if he got in there with Dustin Poirier, I think that'd be crazy. I really do like that Robbie Lawler shout for Mike Perry. I think that would be a great fight for a main event. I think that would that could go the distance. I mean, both those guys are durable as hell. Both of them can take a lot of shots, and both of them can also fire a lot of shots. I think that would just be a back and forth striking match. But the other name that I was thinking of, either way, if Mike Perry wanted to go back to boxing, I wouldn't mind seeing him in there with Tony Ferguson. And if Tony Ferguson wanted to come out and do MMA, I wouldn't mind seeing Mike Perry versus Tony Ferguson back in MMA. But those are my 2 cents on the Mike Perry Diaz fight.
I'm not mad at that at all. Nato, what do you think?
I like it. I think that's the great thing with Mike Perry is he got himself to a point, and he kind of mentioned it in the post-fight speech as well. It's like he's a prize fighter at this point, and now he can kind of have a couple different paths. It's not just the UFC. I think that's good business for everyone. Rising tide raises all ships. They're gonna make more money. These fighters are gonna be more willing to make these dream matchups. So he's in the driver's seat. I like it, Pitt.
And Lazy Bed just joining the chat right now, but of course he's joining with the straight heat. Nate didn't lose. His skin just ran out of time.
Perfect.
I mean, come on. That's a great comment. That one was a banger, Jimbo's old lady. You're absolutely right. Totally agree, Lazy. Yeah. I mean, it's not a matter of heart or power. His health bar just ran out, Who would win in karate combat? Robelis Despain or Cyril Gane? Robelis would be crying because, he'd have plenty of milk, but all the cereal gone. No, I think Cyril Gane aside from bad jokes, I think he teaches how to class him. The footwork is just too much. And he's not flat-footed ever. I don't know how you guys feel about that one. What do you think?
No, Cyril Gane all day, I think would just completely, it'd be a mismatch. I think it would just be he's just too good on the striking, just everywhere. I don't think it would be a fair fight.
This is a great comment from Jimbo's old lady, as usual. It always sucks when they have a huge hype up and then a fight doesn't last as long as the hype up commercial. Yep. Yeah. Honestly, like you're sitting there watching the promo.
One eternity later.
And then you go grab a beer and you're like, what? I missed it. It's over. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like.
And I know that was the Tyson era for a long time. So we were maybe on the back end of that, all of us. But for a long time,
the Tyson era, you'd watch people get bodied. They wouldn't get up and hug. They'd get stretchered out.
That is true.
That's different.
No, that feels different, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's like, I don't know. I feel like even if it's a one-shot knockout, because like Johnny Hendricks used to do that. Like he had 99 problems, but John Finch wasn't one. He knocked him out in 12 seconds. Sorry, that was terrible. Oh man. Yeah, he knocked John Finch out in like 12 seconds, and it was probably the most exciting fight of the night. Because you're like, man, John Finch presents a dollar problems. And then John Finch just got fucking deaded, bro. Meanwhile, Johnny Hendricks is like walking out smiling like he's fucking going to the fucking shindig when he's walking out to the octagon. Like, man, I'm just happy to be here. And then he kills someone. Like, those are fun. Ronda Rousey, like, you could smile before the fight. Like, yeah, I'm going to kill a man. But then after you do it, you don't like hug the guy and fucking kiss him and shit. Like, there's a picture of Gina smiling as she got armbarred, bro. It's fucking wild to me. Which, again, you'd break my arm, I'd probably be smiling if I knew I was getting $1 million too. Did you guys see Cali State Athletic Commission did the thing they do where they released the fighters' weights from right before they enter the cage? Oh, no. Lazy bed. I'm gonna need you to
did
hit
not
us with
see
those
that.
stats, big dog. How bad is it? What are we talking here? I feel like Mike Perry is gonna have been way heavier than Nate, and I feel like Ronda is going to have been heavier than Gina because Gina hasn't cut weight in 17 years and doesn't do it properly, possibly. But I don't know, man.
Didn't
There's not
Gina
a
say
ton
she
of other
lost
fights.
like 100 pounds
She lost over 100 pounds, yeah,
to make it to this fight, though, right?
in the last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
They love that
pre-diabetic.
for
She
her,
had gained a
too.
shit ton of weight. Oh, actually, Diaz was much heavier than Mike. Wow. He's on
Crazy.
the peptides, dog.
Much.
And some other
That's
stuff.
interesting. Yeah, I guess they wear different. Mike looked huge to me personally.
I thought Dos Santos looked, his physique-wise, looked pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. And last fight we're going to talk about MVP, unless there's any other fights you guys really care to talk about here. Pumi Nakuda and Adriano Moraes. Pumi Nakuda won that fight. And then in the final seconds of the fight, he essentially gets RNC'd. He's wobbling his legs to show that he's still there. And then as the clock runs out, his legs go limp. They go back and they have not one, not two, not three, I believe 4, possibly 5 fucking officials, including refs, including but not limited to Herb motherfucking Dean, Mr. Herb, finish him, Dean. And they rule it a submission win, a technical submission win at 4 minutes and 59 seconds into round 5. And I got to go one step further here before I pass the baton to Pip here. Herb was on the Helwani show today. And Helwani questioned him about this. And I got to ask you, Pip, like, as a very honest man, and just, you know, I just feel like a very understanding guy. Like, wouldn't it be better if for once in this sport, the judges or the refs just came out and said, hey, I made a mistake? Instead of doubling down and saying, that's what I saw. Dude, there are fucking 200,000 people across the internet that are diehard fans. And I'm being very gentle and subtle with that number. It's a lot more that think a mistake was made. There are coaches, there are fighters that think you made a mistake. Even if it's like, you know what? In the moment, I thought it was a finish at 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Maybe I made a mistake. I'll have to go back and look at it. That would be better than just doubling down on it, right? Like, Pip, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think they made the right call? And do you think that refs and judges alike should be held more accountable?
Yeah, so I mean, this one was definitely kind of odd, and I'll be honest, I didn't completely watch this fight, so it's definitely one that I need to go back and really rewatch it. But I'm sure, like all of us, I definitely saw all the clips about it, and it definitely seemed odd where he was just hanging on to that submission a little too long, and it sounded like he was losing the fight up until that point, if I'm not mistaken. But it was definitely interesting where you saw him have that submission, and the fight was definitely over, right? And then when he let go, you could see that he was out. Whether or not that last whether or not that last 3 seconds is when he went out, like I said, I need to kind of rewatch it, and maybe you can kind of see exactly when, an arm goes limp or something like that within that kind of last, half a second or 2 seconds back, or if you could tell it was actually after the round. But
his legs stopped moving 2 seconds after the fight is done, but he held the choke for 3 additional seconds after the fight was called, or after the bell rang.
So you could visibly see it after the fight was done. So then it's one of those things where, when I get back to the ref side, I would love to see the refs kind of, post their, why they did what they did. Even if we just got like a reel on Instagram or a tweet or something like that, I would love if they were at the post-fight conference and they got interviewed by the press saying, I wish this is, could you explain to me why you did this? And then they could kind of, break down what they saw during that time. But I feel like that would just help us get a better understanding of what the refs are actually seeing in there. And I get it. I mean, no ref is perfect. I think as much shit as they see, as much shit can happen in just half a second, and you have, that much time to react all in the same sense. Like, if I was in their shoes, I think I would definitely make some bad calls as well. But yes, I mean, just being able to admit that you made a mistake is huge. That definitely kind of builds trust with us, because now we're starting to see a lot of the people just when you see Herb Dean just kind of, and he's done this multiple times where he's like, yeah, that's what I saw. And it's made a lot of people lose trust in Herb Dean. Herb Dean used to be one of the most highly respected refs.
He was up there with Big John.
That's what I'm saying. 5 years ago, he was one of the most respected refs in the industry, and now it just feels like he's losing a lot of his credibility. But enough of my rant here, but Nano, what'd you think?
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it was everything you guys mentioned. I mean, just to round us out, I think you hate to see a technical submission win in the last literal second. Feels like a little bit of a robbery, but like y'all said, if that's what they saw, then that's what it is. Jimbo's old lady, yes, totally agree. Herb used to be one of my favorites, but not anymore. Lost a fan in a lot of people, it sounds like, but it's the name of the game. Can't win them all. Maybe that's where they add them in eventually. I digress. That's a conversation for another day. Back to you, MMAnomaly.
Let's jump into these fucking UFC fights, boys. Let's jump into a main event between Arnold Allen and Nicolle Caliari. Since I spent so long on the last topic, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it super sweet on this one. Look, Arnold Allen did the thing, man. He did exactly as we said he was going to do. I thought that this was probably going to be a grindy fight. I thought that he was going to be just a step ahead of Nicolle Caliari everywhere the fight went. And, that's exactly what happened, right? Like, Nicolle Caliari actually did a lot of things very well. He adapted to the fight very well, but Arnold Allen just seemed to be a step ahead of him. He had nasty power and forward pressure. And, I mean, he looked really fucking good, man. Solid distance management. And I've said this for a while now. He has underrated grappling. Like, some of the scrambles that he was doing out there against Melky were very nice to see. So solid to see him get back on the horse again, back in the win column. And again, I'll say it one more time, folks, before I pass the baton here to Nano. Who is he lost against? Outside of the top 6? Nobody. He's a fucking stud, bro. Unless you put him against the world breaker, he is the world breaker. So can't wait to hear your breakdown on this fight, Nano, and can't wait to hear who you boys have next. Nano, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, brother, this was a fun main event of the evening, if you will. I think, especially with the Netflix event going on, it was nice to kind of have both, and frankly, to have a main event to look forward to. That was longer than 17 seconds. But I think my 2 cents on the fight is that Arnold Allen was just a better fighter, right? It felt like it pretty much was obvious, almost off the rip. I think within the first minute, Melky was dropped by Arnold Allen. Granted, you could make an argument that it might have been a little bit of bad timing. He was throwing a punch, caught on the end of it, dropped him. But then as the fight continued to progress, it just felt like Arnold Allen was in the driver's seat. Melky really could not get any advantage. Even when he cracked Arnold, it really didn't do much impact or really have a lot of significance. I mean, Arnold went 7-7 for takedowns, outstruck his opponent, Melky Costa. But like you said, brother, Arnold Allen, AA, is a dude that needs to continue to fight at the top of the division. And there's one name that I think feels pretty obvious. But before we dive into that, here for the number 7 ranked featherweight Arnold Allen, Pitt, go ahead and take the meat off the bones, my brother. I see you smiling and giggling over there. Give the people a laugh. Give the people what they want to hear. Let's go.
Definitely a great fight, and I apologize for anybody that would have bet with me last week. If you did, we did not do well. And, guys, let me tell you something. I scored 10th place in my DraftKings picks. I was pissed off, bro.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, right? No, I was last place. That should be clear. This wasn't a 1 out of 100,000 or whatever, and I won 25.
That was me last week, though, with
I
all due
won
respect.
Nothing. Yeah, 3 fights. I probably got a total of 7 points, maybe. It was absolutely terrible. And let me tell you about this fight, because this was the last one that I had a little bit of hope with. And boy, it was just a dominant win for Arnold Allen. I mean, just showed a clear power and grappling advantage here in this fight, and he just kind of keeps himself in a really good position for a stacked division as we have in this featherweight division. But it started out just a really high pace right away. I mean, Allen dropped Costa with that nasty left overhand, wasted no time immediately. He wanted Costa on the ground. He got the trip Both guys scrambled in and out of positions, and Costa was doing okay. I mean, he managed to recover. He got some control time, even landed some good shots, and we got into the second round, and you could just see a clear power advantage from Allen. It just the jabs that got through were snapping the head back of Costa, and it definitely became more of a kicker versus boxing match. And we saw competitive moments, throughout the first minute of each round where it felt like, Costa would go out and land straight hands, but Allen would work his way in the pocket, crisp 1-2s, left hooks, straights. It almost felt like the power of Allen would stun Costa, and it felt like it would just shut him down for the next 4 minutes. And it just happened over and over again. I mean, Allen stayed in front of Costa. He gave him no space. There was good entries in the clinch where Allen would just wear on Costa against the fence, and Allen would sweep and hook that left leg to get that trip. And it became really effective as the fight went on. It just became a common theme. Gained a good amount of control time with it, landed heavy ground and pound, good control on top, and just taking away all of Costa's ability to get back up. And even on the feet, I mean, everything Allen was doing was setting up that left hand. I mean, pushing him back to avoid the kicks. It was a clear-cut victory with two main techniques that it really felt like won Allen this fight. Definitely a solid win for Arnold Allen, showing that he still belongs in the top of this division here. And it's a tough fight for anybody. But as far as what I want to see next for Arnold Allen, I've got two names. And then, Owen, let me hear your picks. But I'm thinking Aljo Sterling or Lerone Murphy for Arnold Allen. But, Uncle Owen, what you got?
Man. I'll be honest with you. What do I have? Not much. My guy making a fucking mess over there, taking all that meat off the bone, kid.
That is terrifying looking.
Let's go.
My guy came in hungry. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I like both of those names. Genuinely, like when you think about what's next for him, there's not a whole lot you can say outside of the top 5, right? Because he's beaten most of the people in the division. He's like really beaten kind of a who's who. I like the Arnold Allen, I like the Aljamain Sterling shot. I just think that fight makes a lot of sense from kind of a where they standpoint as well as just a meritocracy standpoint. I think that's probably the best name for him. Like realistically, who else do you want to do, right? Nano, who did you have on the tip of your tongue?
Honestly, I Lerone Murphy as well. So I think that's the proper fight. He's coming off a loss. He's ranked number 3. And it just makes sense at this stage. Movsar Evloev, I think he should kind of wait around for a potential title shot at some point. Diego Lopez, I guess. Oh, well,
what about Yair Rodriguez?
Yeah, Yair would be the alternative, right? I think Arnold Allen deserves either one of those guys. Number 3 for Lerone Murphy, number 5 for Yair. Allen is number 7, so I think either one, a top 5er, 100%.
I like that fight. My only con is I don't know what that really does for Arnold Allen. It just feels like we haven't seen Yair in quite some time, where I feel like he could fight some fresher opposition that would get him closer to where he wants to be.
Yeah. And I'd also rather see Yair versus Diego Lopez, Mr. Where are you? Yeah. For me, I just feel like Lerone Murphy and Aljo are both kind of there for a title shot. So it's whoever doesn't get the title shot should have to fight Arnold Allen, realistically. Shin to Shin MMA. What the fook is going on, people? Big up Olin, Nano, and Pips. My guy. Aljo should get a title shot, TBH. Allen versus Murphy is the fight to make, and do Costa versus Yair. I'm happy with that. I'd rather see Diego Lopez versus Yair. They have beef. They have history. It's an easy promo to cut, boys. Like, we love a good easy promo, or at least the UFC does. So run it, boys.
If I had to give a good shout for Milky, I think Nathaniel Wood would be a fun fight for Milky.
Ooh, I'm not mad at that. Nano, did you have a name on the tip of your tongue for Milky?
I mean, I was not prepared. Not necessarily, but I think, man, yeah, maybe like someone like a Pico or David Onormo.
I was actually going to say Aaron Pico or Kevin Vallejos.
Vallejos would be a fun fight.
Banger. I think Vallejo's probably beats his ass, though.
I know. That's the thing.
Please give us dog odds on Vallejo's. You didn't hear that here. But where in the world is Yair Rodriguez? That motherfucker's Carmen Sandiego these days, brother. Where in the world is Yair Rodriguez? I'm never not going to say it like Chael Sonnen. Yair Rodriguez. With that, let's move into the next fight, which I also got correct. Dooho Choi, the Korean Superboy, coming in against Willie Cat Daniel Santos. Look, I mean, I told you guys, like, he was just going to be a little bit more durable. He was going to be a little bit stronger, be able to last a little bit longer. Fight of the night vibes in this one. Choi is the Korean Superboy. He proved that on Saturday night again. Explosive power, pretty wild striking, and kind of that fuck it, we're trading mentality, right? He absorbs damage like a sponge. Call him SpongeBob SquarePants, but he lands fucking bombs, this kid. Santos, Willie Cat, is a well-rounded finisher. He's got slick submissions and pressure, but his chin and cardio have a little bit of holes in them that I think were exposed on Saturday against the elite-level athleticism that Dooho Choi presented. Choi ate some pretty early shots in the fight, but he adapted pretty well. Dropped a body shot that somewhat folded Santos there and then poured on the pressure in that fight. I mean, what can we say, right? Round 2 finish for the kid. He looked really fucking good out there. He looked sharp. He outlanded the opposition. He stuffed not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 fucking takedowns. And I'd say about 4 out of 6 of those takedowns that he stuffed, he made it look pretty fucking easy, like textbook stuff. Dooho Choi might be back, man. Korean MMA might be back, brothers. So I loved this fight from a fan standpoint. I've been a fan of his since that fight against Cub, and we were there for the UFC Hall of Fame ceremony when they inducted it. Couldn't have been happier for those two to get the shout. Pip, what were your thoughts on this one? And don't tell us what's next. Let Nano give his breakdown first.
yeah, of course. No, but definitely a great fight, and I'm happy to talk about this one because this was definitely my my lock of the week, and I'm happy Choi was able to get it done. But I mean, this was a fun fight for as long as it lasted. And from the start of the fight, I mean, it felt like both of these guys were swinging. Both guys were landing bombs. Santos just found some really good uppercuts, some dirty boxing in the pocket, just found really good knees. And Choi found a good few check hooks that were in the pocket, but Santos was just landing the harder shots. But with that, Santos was just using all of his energy for those shots. I mean, pushing forward a little half over the first round, you could see Santos just visibly take a very, very deep breath. And Choi just found the jabs at the end of that round. And from the start of the second round, Santos was fading fast. And Choi was the one with the pressure. He could feel Santos just really slowing down. He was landing that jab, busting the nose up of Santos, which really only made the breathing harder on this point. Really started leaking. He was breathing through the mouth. And I'm still hungry. I'm coming for more. Bear with me a little bit longer. That right hook to the body was nasty. He landed a hook upstairs and then dropped Santos with that perfect left hook to the body. It was just a perfect way to weather the storm, break Santos down, and get that TKO. But he's really looking like a solid contender. And now we've got Choi with the longest active knockout streak. He's got 3 consecutive knockouts, and it was a good win over a rising prospect. But Nano, what'd you think?
I love it. Appreciate the handoff, brother. I do think that's a great stat. I didn't realize that he has that kind of streak going, but that's really what Dooho Choi's about. He comes out there, he brings violence, he puts on a great show, and Daniel Santos was no slouch as well. He had some really exciting moments. This is why it won fight of the night. I mean, the striking differential was super close. They were even on significant strikes. So if you really want to look at the numbers, it was super close. Obviously, it was an exciting finish. One guy, is going to be victorious. One guy is going to be, the learning lesson in these types of scraps. And it was every bit as good as we were hoping for. So fight of the night, co-main event, all W's, Dooho Choi. Keep doing what you're doing over there, Dooho. We'd love to see it, brother. Let's go.
Yeah, he looked really fucking good out there to Dooho Choi. And I mean, like, this is another featherweight belt, right? Like, if I'm being honest, like, you guys were talking about what's next for Melquizael Costa, I wouldn't mind seeing a Dooho Choi versus Melquizael Costa bout. Why the fuck not?
Not mad at it.
You got Dooho starting to build up a little bit of a streak again. He's starting to look really good. He's back in the saddle. And you got Melky Zell having the streak broken for the first time in quite some time. So, you got to fight down while one man fights up. I think that fight makes a lot of sense and maybe even more dollars.
And if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. My only other two names for Choi was maybe the David Onama or Josh Emmett, but I think Melky Costa definitely sells that fight the most.
David Onama I like as a runner-up for sure. David Onama. Fucking David Onama, bro. I will always hear those drunk guys in my ear saying David Onama. Man. There's a lot of meat on the bone on this next one, boys. It's a bantamweight bout between Malcolm Wellmaker, or as we used to call him, Not So Wellmaker, coming in against Juan Diaz. My God, this guy was number one on Saturday. Nano, what were your thoughts on Juan Diaz and the controversy that took place inside of the octagon?
Yeah, this was a fun fight. This was an opportunity for Malcolm Wellmaker to get back on the right track here and get in the driver's seat and get a W, right? I mean, that's what we all want to see. But boy, this guy Juan Diaz, he wanted to go out there and get and won the fight. 5 takedowns out of 8 attempts. Not a lot of striking necessary, but it did just feel like Juan was just lighter on his feet. He was moving in and out of range better. Was able to find Malcolm Wellmaker on the end of a few punches. And they got the submission win. I mean, this guy's every bit as good as advertised, and I think it's just unfortunate for Malcolm Wellmaker. I think maybe getting a little gun shy. I remember DC mentioning that he wants to see him take some more chances or go out there and make it a little bit more of a bloody fight. But I think this is what happens sometimes. You get an exciting win or two early in your career, then all of a sudden people think you're a world beater, but the reality is all these guys are good. And so it's never an easy night in the office here at this level. And I think that Malcolm is where he needs to be to continue to develop. But Juan Diaz, boy, excited to hear what y'all think is next for him. But I do think that he's someone that if he continue to win in exciting fashion like that, then sky's the limit for the kid. Pip, lay it on us, brother. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely underestimated Juan's ability to get this one done. I thought this was going to be competitive, and I thought Malcolm would just look a little bit more improved after the Ethan fight. But Juan really just came out here and shut down the game from Malcolm, and he was able to snatch up that rear naked choke, really just getting his first win in the UFC over a very tough prospect in Malcolm Wellmaker. But it felt like we kind of started out at a very slow pace. I mean, both guys were making a lot of these reads, just trying to find range. And Malcolm found some, good body kicks, but Juan was just able to back Malcolm up, which really shut the offense down from Malcolm. And that was the one thing that I noticed from the Ethan fight. If you were able to back him up, rather than having him kind of walk you down, if he was, either having to chase you or you backed him up, he just wasn't able to set up those shots. And we kind of saw that. He was not able to set up that check left hook, and we didn't see any of those really attempted. He was able to find his own shots. He was able to land takedowns. And it was just more low output coming from Malcolm. Juan even dropped Malcolm with an overhand. We did get into this weird moment where he did kind of knee him while Malcolm was on the ground, and it landed towards the neck. I thought they stopped the fight for a second, but it cleared up on the replay. The ref decided not to take a point. It was clearly a foul, but it restarted with 1 second left anyway. But obviously, it didn't really matter as Diaz just kind of did good jobs making adjustments with the body kicks. He was catching the leg, throwing the straight hand over the top, timed some good level changes, got Malcolm's back several times, and he did a good job just controlling and hooking the legs, taking away the base of Malcolm. He was able to sink in that choke, which is solid technique, but it was just an amazing debut win for Juan Diaz. Getting a win over Malcolm Wellmaker is just an impressive achievement in your debut alone, so I'm interested to see him back. I mean, his grappling looks solid, his boxing in the pocket looks sharp. So I could see him giving a lot of people in this bantamweight division some problems. But MMAnomaly, what'd you think?
I'll be honest. I both agree and disagree with both you guys in your breakdowns. I was impressed by Juan Diaz. I did underestimate Juan Diaz. However, I also think that the strike to the neck of a grounded opponent via knee, even though there was only 1 second left in the round, played a lot into the second round. Malcolm Wellmaker was visibly slower in that second round. I think he was still trying to get his wits about him after eating that knee. And the fact that they didn't take a point is just astronomically foul and just idiotic in so many ways. That fight realistically should have been stopped via DQ. He dropped his opponent. He got greedy. He kneed him in the neck. And I mean, like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, we have to enforce these rules. That aside, you know, I can call a spade here. It was performance of the night for a reason. You know, Wellmaker is the prospect. He's got slick striking and athleticism, but his ground game has shown holes when pressured. And Diaz is a veteran level grappler. He's got nasty chain wrestling, and he proved that on Saturday night. He's got suffocating top control, and the rear naked choke is just absolute fucking money in the bank. He weathered the early shots. I will say that the one thing that stood out to me, as I like to ask you guys, what did we learn in this fight? What we learned, and I think Pip said this, is, you know, I expected more growth after that last loss to Ethan Ewing, and we just didn't see it. Instead, we may have seen a step back, a degradation of skill for Malcolm Wellmaker. It seemed like he was loading up a lot more on his strikes than he typically does. Useless raid. Let's fucking go. What's up, Useless?
Hey.
My guy. The man, the myth, the legend.
It's time!
Useless is in the house, or as we like to call him, Useful, my guy. We're going to hit the air horns again for this guy. Let's fucking go, brother. Hope you're having a great night. It is a beautiful Monday evening, and man, what a weekend of fights we had before a short hiatus from the fights in the UFC octagon. As far as for what is next, Pip, I will come to you first. What do you think? What do you want to see next for this guy, Juan Diaz?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe a Felipe Lima or even a John Casadena. I think both of those could be, you know, tougher, not tougher matchups than Malcolm Wellmaker, but good tests in a decent jump up.
No, what you got?
Definitely solid step up for sure. Man, I mean, this is a stacked division, but I will tell you what, if this guy doesn't get the fight with Alexandria Topuria, is that confirmed yet? But I think an Ethan Ewing.
Oh, I mean, that's not a bad shout. They're I mean, most notable wins are both Malcolm Wellmaker. So I'm not mad at it.
I don't want to look too far away from that, but that might someone in that range. I don't know.
Feels a bit like low hanging fruit there, Nano. No,
Someone's got to grab
That's
it.
a great shout. That's a great shout, brother. Someone's got to grab that fruit. I had two names. I had Rob Fonch, Hobby Fonch, or Montel Quick Jackson, both coming off back-to-back losses, both sitting above him in the rankings. I think those make a lot of sense, right? Like, could be a lot of fun. Could be. Rob Font might jab him up, but Rob Font we've also seen get taken down and smothered, so that could also happen. And then on the other side of it, Montel Quick Jackson wears a larger sized glove in the bantamweight division than Francis Ngannou wore. So he can probably hurt you. He probably hit you pretty hard. He's dangerous. So those could be fun fights, but I kind of like Pip's pick better. To be honest with you guys. Gonna be completely candid here. With that, we'll move into the next fight, folks. It is a catchweight fight between Modestas Bukauskas and Christian Edwards. And man, this was more dicey than it should have been. Calling a spade here. Nano, take some meat off the bone, brother. What'd we learn?
Yeah, I'll take a little meat here and leave some for the boys. But this was a fun catchweight fight with my UFC fighter on my UFC fantasy team. If y'all are interested in learning more, hit us up. We'll get you in the next season. But I had Modestas Bukauskas going out there and getting it done. And boy, did he make it. He made me sweat a little bit. Okay, this was a split decision win. Christian Edwards took this on short notice, hence the catchweight. And boy, was he big and strong and willing to get the friction on with the Modestas. Again, much closer than I thought. I thought Modestas won, but I think I was watching with rose-colored glasses. But I do think that Modestas had some really exciting moments. You could argue or maybe make a case it was close to being a 10-8 round. I just don't think he did enough to really definitively win it. But he had Christian Edwards hurt a couple times, had him on stilts, but he just let a little too much room for Christian to get back in. And again, make it a close call for these decision makers. Hey, a win's a win. I don't think it's the prettiest performance, but that's Modestas ball right there. That's what we get from him. Is it's just enough, squeaking by, razor thin margins here, but a W nonetheless. Can't wait to see what's next for him. But dish it off to the man, the myth, the legend, the man with the piano and the tips. I'm talking about Mr. Pip. Let us know how you felt, brother. What'd you see?
It was definitely a very close fight. I had Bukauskas on this one as well, but definitely, yeah, made me clench up a little bit. I mean, both guys were having a lot of moments. Both guys found a lot of good body kicks, but Edwards was having more moments when he was getting backed up. Edward would try to like pull Bukauskas in to kind of bait him into that left hand, and Edwards was able to get some control against the cage as well. Once we got to that second round, though, I mean, Bukauskas was, landing some nasty right hands. It hurt Edwards on multiple times. And kind of timed Edward as he was rushing in or just going into a firefight and just beat him in the exchanges. But I saw something that's really starting to bother me, and we saw this twice last weekend, where they would hurt their opponent and then kind of proceed to grapple with them, and it's really hurting. I mean, Bukauskas landed a big shot. He landed that right hand, and then he just kind of proceeded to clinch with him. There's a lot of missed moments in that opportunity to do it, to risk one of those things where you could get taken down in the third round and get submitted and lose a win, what could have been just a grip away. If you would have just let go of the clinch, bust him, he's trying to hold you there. So, I mean, I get it, but at least try to land some knees, land some elbows in the clinch, do something to create some damage other than just hold on to somebody. And I mean, every time we saw Bukauskas create space as well, he landed that right hand. He just went back to the clinch. He won the round decisively, but like I said, it just felt like a lot of missed moments from Bukauskas. In the third round, we just saw a lot of control, really, from Edwards. I mean, not really much happened, but that could have been a huge shit show if he did get the submission. But low output, really, from both guys. Not really any urgency. It was kind of just a bad ending to what I thought was more of an interesting round two. And I think it just really showed more bad IQ issues with Edwards not really trying to finish the fight when Bukauskas knew that he probably could coast to the third. I thought Bukauskas won rounds 1 and 2, but Bukauskas is back in the win column. Got the split decision. Not really anything I was impressed with. Didn't have too much hope for Christian coming into this fight, but it was more competitive than I thought it was. I'm almost more interested to see Christian Edwards coming in with a full camp rather than seeing Bukauskas next with his next opponent. But Uncle Olin, what'd you think? Got a double mute, I think.
Uh-oh.
Happens to the best of us. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Alex Pip's piano tips. Not only for the great breakdown, but for letting a brother know when he's double muted. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, as much as I hate to agree with you, here, Pip, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely sound. It was ugly. It was gritty. It was a win. I can't really say much more than that, right? Like, I do think that there were some lapses in judgment, some lapses in fight IQ for Edwards, and I am more excited to see Edwards come back with a full camp than necessarily play matchmaker for Modestas Bukauskas. But that being said, though I don't have a ton to say about the fight itself, do think that Modestas Bukauskas would probably match up really well against, I don't know, an Alexander Rakic. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. Maybe even a Johnny Walker would be a really fun fight for him. I'm not sure if you guys had any names on the tip of your tongue here.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe I'll jump in since I went first. But I'll go with Jimmy Crute. I think it's the one guy he's fought 3 times last year. I'm looking to hopefully get him back into the UFC Octagon here in 2026. But that's a staple in the division. I think it's an absolute solid fight for Modestas Bukauskas, who, again, Jimmy Crute has a little bit more namesake. So that's where I'm going here, y'all. I mean, if y'all like it, you can ride with me. If not, what do you got, Pip?
I like the Alexander Rakic shout. The only other one that I was thinking of was Dustin Jacoby. I think that could be more of a fun striker fight. And I think that'd be a good win for Dustin Jacoby.
I was going to say Dustin Jacoby, but he's on a 3-fight win streak, all by TKO. I just wouldn't want to make him fight down. That's my only issue with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like the Alexander shout for sure.
Like, Dustin Jacoby would be a fun fucking fight. I would watch that all fucking day, but I would also rather see Dustin Jacoby get a matchup against like a Volkan Ozdemir, both coming off wins, but Volkan's on 1. The opponent would be on 3. I think it makes sense. But if they match that up, you bet your fucking sweet ass I'd be watching, brother. That's a fun ass fight. That is a fun ass fight. Speaking of fun, folks, we have a new segment that's coming up in the coming weeks. Pip's dad is actually going to be joining us for our very own version of the Ray Longo Minute. We're calling it Papa Pip's Betting Tips. We have a little teaser for you folks.
When the fights are on and the odds look fishy, there's only one man to trust. Papa Pip's Betting Tips. Take the underdog. Trust me. Bet smart, folks. Don't fall for the bait. Hooking winners every week.
Shout out the production team.
Go.
That was beautiful. I cannot wait.
I honestly think it's going to be a really, really fun segment. I'm super excited to have your dad on, man. I made a joke about it with Pip the other day, and Nano, I'm going to run the joke by you, but I think, a year or two from now, it could be a lot of fun to have the dad segment. You know what I'm saying? The bad dads little vibe. We'll have Big Tone, we'll have JD, we'll have Papa Pip. I think it'd be a lot of fun, bro.
I like it.
And what's fun is I feel like your dad's ex Golden Gloves, my dad's ex Golden Gloves. This guy's whooped our ass at DraftKings, or this guy's dad, I should say.
Yeah, not me. 10th place.
I mean, you whooped my ass last week. I was 10th place last week. You were like 2nd or 3rd. I was sweating your picks for the first half of the card, and then I saw your dad's, and I was like, nah, this guy's gonna win.
Let him cook.
So yeah, let him cook indeed. He cooked us all. I was telling Mary, I hope your dad entered one of like the 25 cent or 50 cent ones that week, because some of those are like anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000, and your dad would have at least placed top 100 in those with the score he got in ours.
There was one that he placed like Pops. If you're in, tell him the story. You placed like 401 of them not too long ago.
Dude,
shoot.
every time I enter the 25 cent ones, or not every time, but if I enter every week, at least once every like 3 to 5 weeks, I'll win and make my money back for the previous weeks. So it just kind of floats my budget. So I always recommend, when you're confident, enter those 10 cent to 50 cent to $1 ones. They're fucking fire for making your money back. Love it. Let's go, Jimbo's old lady. I'm sure you're going to love the segment even more. I can't wait to have Papa Pip on here, giving his picks and proving us all wrong time in and time out. With that being said, speaking of proving people wrong, this is a PSA, folks. This is a PSA. Peer pressure, not something you should give into. Even when your friends seem really smart, really well educated, and dare I say, really fucking confident. These guys were talking about 6-inch reach advantage. He's so tall. He's so long. He's so good. And then Mike Kawamba, this guy comes in and shits the money pit. We're talking about a Timothy Kawamba and Benardo Sopaj. Man. It's crazy, guys. I mean, did I not say just one short week ago? I understand what you're saying, but the lower sense of gravity means easier takedowns. So that happened, and then he got a submission with it. The second part, I can honestly tell you, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming, boys, but it did. And I mean, I can't even say I told you so, because I backed out of my own decision. All I can say is the Lion got the last roar on Saturday. Okay, boys, the Lion King is back in the win column. We are not, but that's okay. That's okay. Ike Kawamba. Pip. Goddamn. What'd you think about this? Kentucky Kayaker, let's go! Papa Pip, as we call him in these parts. I placed somewhere around 400 out of 25,000, but it only paid 40. But what was the entry? It sounds like you made a profit, Papa Pip. Let's go. Put it into units. People love units. That sounded gay. Pip, what were your thoughts on the fight?
Damn it. I mean, that pretty much summed it up. I was very disappointed. I didn't have a no bet list before this show, and before the last episode, I didn't have one. But now, I think Timmy Cucumba is now on the no bet list.
Just
Fuck
call
that
him
guy.
Cucumba.
He's on the no bet list. I'm not going to get his name right. I don't give a shit. Don't pay attention to this guy. No, I'm sorry, Timmy. If you're listening, it's all right.
The Cucumba gets no number from me. You hear
He
me?
gets absolutely no number from me. But, I mean, it was a solid fight for what it was. I mean, we had a great submission win for Sopaj, as much as it hurts to say. And Nano, I mean, what we learned is don't listen to your gut, man. I mean, let's just it didn't get us. It didn't get us on this fight. It didn't get us. I mean, Sopaj just really had a great game plan. And it felt like from the start of the fight, Sopaj just had the range immediately. He was landing really good jabs and straights, and he just found that right hand, and it hurt Cucumba a few times, and it dropped him early. He started finding those 1-2, the leg kick combos with it, and then he kind of just started changing his game plan to the grappling. Immediately took the back, and he got the choke. And even if that first round was 20 seconds left, he would have got it done in the first round. But we pretty much just saw a rinse and repeat game plan once he knew how far ahead his grappling was, and he went for the grappling a little sooner, got the takedown, and then just went for that neck, and he looked like he was about to pop his neck off for how tight that choke was. But it was definitely a very impressive win for Sopaj. But damn, this was probably one of the first fights of many that actually fucked up my whole pick. I just watched this fight, and then it all just went crashing down. But Nano, what'd you think on this fight, man?
Same with me. I was the one saying "ay caramba" last week, ruined for Timmy Cuamba, but Benardo Sopaj is an absolute stud. Bernardo's striking was lethal. It was really just an accumulation of damage. The overhand jab, I guess, kind of a looping, or just really just a simple jab, just a counter jab that really hurt Timmy Cuamba, put him on thin ice. And then he continued to pummel him. I thought it could have been stopped, to be honest. I know we'd like to see these warriors go out there and have that opportunity to defend themselves and to go out on their shield. But just the look of it, I just felt like there was not a lot more Timmy Cuamba could do, or I didn't see it really turning a tide. I think it was maybe, frankly, could have been stopped. But Benardo gets a submission win, which good feather in his cap, and can't wait to see what y'all think is next for the talented up-and-coming fighter here in this division. I know I missed something, so let me know what y'all think. Pitt, did you already go? Oh, no, you already went out. Was that the last one? Okay. Let's go.
I thought it was fire, bro. I thought the whole performance was fire. And one thing that Pip pointed out was the 1-2 leg kicks that he was throwing, and he was switching them up, right? Like he throw a 1-2 lead leg kick, a 1-2 rear leg kick, and like we used to call that at AK. I think it was Tomas Nomas Dion would call it the shadow kick, right? Which, or no, it was fuck. I hate that I'm blanking on his name. He was a UFC fighter too. I digress. Big Mortal Kombat fan. He'd call it the shadow kick, because he felt like it was a shadow being disguised by the right hand. You throw the 1, the 2, and as the 2's firing, that right is already loaded, so the leg's coming up. He'd throw head kicks with it. But again, doing that 1-2 same side fucking body kick or leg kick is nasty work, because instinctively your body tells you and your brain tells you, well, he just hit me with this side, so now this side's coming. But this is what your hands try to do. So whether your hands are in the right place or not, especially up here, if you go leg kick, like there's no way they're going to react the right way. And that was happening more often than not. So Pai was just really getting in and closing the distance with those shots. And it made a world of difference. So, I mean, when it comes to what's next for him, Pip, I'll let you take the lead on the breakdown. I'll let you take the lead on what's next. Do you have a name on the tip of your tongue for Benardo Sopaj?
Yeah, and one thing I have to add real quick, because you just gave a beautiful description of that 1-2 leg kick. it really is a beautiful technique when people are figuring it out. And I mean, we saw it. It's great when people take it up high as well. That really just disguises the shot. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, just watch the Leon Edwards Kamaru Usman fight. Very same thing where he throws that shot and the leg kick comes right behind it and it wraps right around the head and they don't see it coming. They'll lean back to try to avoid that straight, but it kicks coming. We also saw that with the Justin Gaethje Dustin Poirier fight as well. It's just a beautiful technique when they mix those things together. But back to Sopaj, back to the fight. I mean, I would love to see a Damon Blackshear, even a Jonathan Martinez. I think both of those could be really fun fights for Sopaj. But not know who you got.
Ooh, very, very solid. I like both of those as well. I mean, my initial pick was gonna be someone that we just haven't seen in a while. I'm talking about a Rinya or a Hinya hybrid, Nakamura. But if not him, I mean, hey, I'd like either of the names you mentioned as well. MMAnomaly, what do you got?
I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. I had Hinya Nakamura as my number one name. I like that one a lot. I just think it makes a lot of sense from a meritocracy standpoint, kind of where they sit right now in the rankings. I'd like to see it. I really would. Outside of that, I mean, Muin Gafurov is coming off a submission loss. I think that would probably make a lot of sense as well if he's still a UFC signed fighter. And then as far as, I mean, this is one that goes against everything I said in the last fight against Pip. But if we don't mind making a guy fight backwards, even though he's on a massive fucking win streak, the construction worker himself, blue collar Ethan Ewing, could be a fun fight, bro. Him versus Bernardo, like, I just feel like those two guys are both going to throw caution to the wind and go at it. And as Bernardo said after the fight, like, he's good everywhere. Like, we typically just see his striking because he's willing to do that. But he's so well-rounded, and we haven't really seen him have to use that, or a lot of those aspects of his game. In the next one, we have Nikolai Vrednikov and Ketlen Williams, a.k.a. Khaos Williams. Look, I just went on this long-winded rant talking shit about you guys being wrong. But as Bruce Buffer says, it's time for me to put my own foot in my mouth. Khaos Williams, I said last week, Khaos Williams comes in there and he tries to bring a lot of chaos into the cage. But I don't think he's going to bring the right chaos to beat a Varetnikov in there. That was like my best and worst Mauro impression from the MVP announcer table. It was a terrible performance by Varetnikov. If I'm calling a spade here. I was not impressed with his performance. He threw 33 attempted strikes, landed 20 of them, 13 of which were considered significant. Didn't attempt a single takedown and got knocked out in 3 minutes and 31 seconds. It was the drunkles at the family barbecue, if you will. It was like, you've heard me say this quote very often. Skilled violence is what we tune into on Saturdays. This was fairly unskilled violence, right? It just felt like amateur hour. I tip my hat to Khaos Williams, my imaginary hat, but I just genuinely think that if he gets matched up against anybody above Varetnikov, it's probably bad news bears for him. Nano, kick me off the fucking bar stool. What were your thoughts, brother?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, this guy's chaotic, right? And that's what we got. We got nothing but chaos. I think it is hard to really gauge how high his ceiling is and where his floor is at. We've seen a little bit of both here in the Khaos Williams career. But, hey, hell of a win, hell of a W there over a Nikolai Varetnikov, excuse me. Because that puts him back in the driver's seat. The Ox fighter was coming off a couple losses. He did mention he had some injuries and that he's finally healthy. So we'd love to see that for him. And there's a couple names I think make sense and could excite some of y'all here. So I'm excited to break that one down. But Pip, did you see anything on this chaotic fight here from Khaos?
Yeah, I mean, to add to your point, Uncle, I mean, it was just more of an unskilled fight from what it felt like. And the only reason that I had really picked Khaos Williams to begin with is just because I felt the defense was so sloppy from what I like to call him now. No neck recognitive. So, I mean, for honestly, it just,
no
Khaos
neck
Williams.
my guy.
Yeah. My boy Nikolai. I mean, both these guys, I mean, they just started out with a chaotic pace. Haha. I mean, Williams was just bringing the pressure. Nicolle was trying to engage in the clinch, but Williams just found right overhands over the top. I mean, decent long jabs, and Williams just kind of waited for Nicolle to come in, just kind of creating exchanges in the pocket. And Nicolle found some heavy exchanges or some heavy leg kicks. Decent straight rights, but Williams did play it smart. He was just able to get into the pocket, into the clinch, and just kind of broke him down from there. But yeah, landed a nasty shot, and he was on very wobbling legs. I don't know if I've ever seen a no neck Nick is exactly a about what he did. I mean, say it all at the same time. Probably Pip. Yeah, no neck Vareknatev basically did his whole fucking thing where had the chicken dance. He got dropped, and it was just a solid performance from Khaos, but. Other than that, there's still some things that he could improve on, but for the division, at the skirt end of it, he can definitely cause a lot of these guys some problems. He's more of a fraud checker fighter, if anything, from what I've learned tonight or on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a solid performance by Khaos. I don't really care to play matchmaker for him, if I'm being honest. I don't think he does well against anybody past Varetnikov, but great performance by him. Great showing, and probably the worst night that No Neck Nick has ever had in the UFC octagon. With that being said, we'll go ahead and move into the prelims, folks. I'm gonna pour up one shot. This will be the one for the show. If you're drinking, drink with me. If not, that's fine too. I think we've got probably a bottle of water and a LaCroix on the other end of me right now. So whatever you're drinking, that's okay, brother. Or sister. We're not judging. Cheers to you. Boom.
Appreciate y'all. Salute.
Good excuse to finish the cola.
You know what I'm saying? Man, speaking of finishes, we didn't get one in the headliner of the prelims, did we? It was Dooho Choi against Ivan Erslan, which, if I'm being honest, kind of sounds like a Marvel villain, maybe like a Captain America villain. You've gotten the last of me, Ivan Erslan. He kind of came in there like a Marvel villain too. Dooho Choi, gotta tell you, my whole breakdown might just be on his hairline. Like, he came in here with a shaved head for his first 3 bouts. And I mean, this one, he just had locks, brother. Like, he should change his nickname to the Lion King. You see that mane? Dude, literally, I pulled up his picture on Tapology and I'm like, babe, does this look like the same guy to you? And she's like, holy fuck. Did you go to Turkey? And then she looks at the picture hella close and then she looks at the screen and she's like, oh no. He always had a decent hairline. He was just fucking shaving that shit. The fuck was he doing? His shit looks good, bro. Unfortunately, his hair looked a lot better than his fight. You know, he didn't do the things that he needed to do. It looked a lot like he was just loading up, waiting in for shots, and hoping and praying. And, you know, we don't hope and pray around here. We aim and fire. We plan and accomplish. He didn't do that. It just seemed like a lackluster performance. It seemed like he came in there without a game plan. And with that being said, every bit of game plan he lacked, his opponent had in spades. He utilized the footwork. He moved out of range. He shut down the overhands and the power shots that his opponent was throwing. And I think there was, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was one point in the beginning of the fight where he was actually throwing some pretty effective leg kicks, and then he just forgot they existed. He just kind of stopped throwing those. So it was a weird performance for me to witness. As a guy who wanted to see Dooho Choi get into the win column very desperately. Pip, am I insane here, or am I a referee and I just need a whistle because I'm calling it as I see it?
Yeah, no, I would give you the whistle. You got the full air horn on this one for sure. I mean, it definitely was a fun fight. It felt like it was a good fight with some bar fight techniques that were mixed into it. I mean, no tank, yeah, good shout, Raider. But it was just, Dooho was very outmatched on the feet. You kind of felt that as soon as the fight started. He was dipping his head really heavy, which left him open to the uppercuts of Ivan. and just throwing weird kicks and strikes that just kind of left him completely off balance, which left him open to the right overhand of Ivan. I mean, Tuco did have moments where Ivan just kind of got very overzealous. He overextended or just kind of forgot he needed to defend, and Tuco would throw caution to the wind and just start swinging heat. And he did catch Ivan at the end of that first round with a right hook and just unloaded shots for about 30 seconds, and it did kind of turn the momentum of that first round in Tuco's favor, but Ivan just made good adjustments, just throwing straighter shots. I mean, the jab was landing, right hands got through, and Tuco just became very labored and telegraphed as the fight went on. Ivan basically just controlled the rest of the fight from half guard. He was able to stop reversals, rolled out, and transition with Tuco, and if he got back up, Ivan just slammed him back down, and it just kind of weared on Tuco's. So now we've got Ivan just getting his first win in the UFC, making a statement in his last fight for his contract. So I'm interested to honestly see what he does next. I mean, whether or not he's going to look better, or we just kind of, this was his one fight and we see another skid. But Nano, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid, at least initial onslaught from Tuco Tokos, but it really just felt like Ivan Erslan was able to weather the storm, really settle into this fight and get the job done via a unanimous decision. Because like I mentioned, I mean, they're even striking that first round, so you could have argued either one of them won. But then as the second round started to progress, it just felt like Ivan Erslan was really starting to find a mark, find a home for his striking, and then in the third round, really smothering Tuco Tokos and taking care of business. So love what I saw from Ivan Erslan. He's someone that does have a good, well-rounded game, and I think would have loved to see finishes from a lot of these guys, or maybe a little bit more risk taking, if you will. But hey, dub's a dub. And with these big boys, you really don't want to take too many chances, especially at that light heavyweight division. So proper scrap. It was solid. There you go.
And as far as for what is next for the winner, Ivan Erslan, I mean, realistically, we can't really go too far up, right? And there's a lot of logjam, or rather people that are already scheduled. What about, and I hate that I feel again like I'm making the same joke I made last week. I'm being a little lazy and doing a funny name matchup like the matchmakers have been recently. What do you think about Ivan Erslan versus Ibo Aslan?
It's a good shout. I got him in my notes too. I like it.
Let's go.
I like that.
Loser has to change their name to Steve.
Lego.
No. Did you have a name on the tip of your tongue?
Man, I mean, I was leaning. No, I mean, honestly, that's probably as proper as it gets. There was no one really top of mind. A lot of people have dance partners, and I'm not gonna find some.
Look it out.
Yeah, that's the.
Let's look it out. I'll tell you, I won't be drafting Erslan again, ever in fantasy. You remember how that went? I mean, oof. I drafted him the 1 6-month stint where he had just a fucking terrible loss and got zero, like no fucking points. Yeah, it was not good. Speaking of the fantasy league, no, apologies. I was on a spa weekend with my significant other. I will update the points today.
Thank you.
You did have the man, the myth, the legend, Modestas Bukauskas. I think he only got like 51 points in a win.
Yeah,
I only know that because I had him drafted on the DraftKings this week, but still 51 more points than you had. And I think you're already ahead of me. So fuck off, kid. Leandro in the chat, my guy. How it do when it be, brother?
Nice to see you, Leandro.
It do great, and it be now. Sup, Leandro? Useless, my guy, aka Useful. You know what I'm saying? Man. Artur Maniev versus Tommy Gantt. Was this the one that we were talking about last week, boys, where it just felt kind of like a useless matchup between two undefeated fighters and we knew which one was going to win? Remind me.
Essentially. It was essentially that.
That was this fight, right? Okay, cool. We can keep it super short. And by short, I mean, we'll see you in 20 minutes after my boy Pip is done. You know what I'm saying? Pip, why don't you take the lead on this one and tell the people what you thought of Gantt? You know what I'm saying? Got the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'll try to sum it up. I mean, it was a dominant win for Tommy Gantt in a stacked division. I mean, he got his first win, TKO win in the UFC. Essentially Gantt pressed him through the cage almost. Leandro, 100%. That's pretty much what happened. I mean, Tommy, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, Tommy was just all about control in this fight. As soon as the fight started, it was in the clinch. He had the hands locked, hooked the leg, stepped through, and just dragged him down repeatedly. And Menev just did a good job just getting his base back under him, getting back to his feet. But he couldn't really do anything else together just because of the pressure of Gantt. I mean, just relentless takedowns and mat returns from Gantt. In the last takedown, he just slammed him into mount, hooked the legs of Menev, and range shots to the side of the head, heavy elbows that got through and got the finish in the second round. But I definitely think he's a guy to keep an eye on. But Nano, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think Tommy Gantt definitely looked like just someone with a solid gas tank. You mentioned being 33 years old or young, I'll say, and so really wanted to be urgent and continuing to climb the ladder quickly. But man, I mean, 17 takedown attempts, landed 6 of them, but you got to just admire someone that has that kind of gas tank. That's someone that's in great shape, phenomenal cardio, and then to go out there. And again, this is only in 2 rounds, y'all. Let it be known, 17 attempts. That's almost Merab-esque level of amount of takedown attempts there. So I like the pressure. I like the cardio. I mean, if you just look at his physique, he certainly was in great shape, and someone we'll definitely keep an eye on. Stacked division. I don't know if I necessarily want to play matchmaker at this point. I think there's a litany of people he can come in, and hey, if you want to be quick to get back in there, take a short notice fight and go out there and make the most of your opportunity. Mr. Gantt, but shout out, good performance.
It was definitely a solid performance. He went out there and did the damn thing. Like I said before, I'm going to keep it super short and sweet on this one. I don't think it needs a super prolific breakdown. It went kind of how we thought it was going to go. As far as for what's next for the guy, it really depends on how fast we want to pole vault this guy into the kind of upper echelon of lightweight, right? I think it might make sense to end up putting him in there against a Jamie Malarkey or a Elves Brenner, right? Like those names make a lot of sense. They're right outside of the top 50. If he beats them, he gets into the top 50. 2, maybe 3 more fights, he's top 25, top 15. Pip, did you have a name on the tip of your tongue here?
Yeah, I'm kind of around that same basis with you. I like that Mularkey shout. That's definitely that I might like that one the most. The only other guy I was thinking was Jared Gordon. And again, that's how far do you really want to jump him? But I think he kind of fucks up a lot of people in the end of that division. So I say give him somewhere around. I don't know where Jared Gordon is in the fan rankings of Tapology or whatever, but I mean, if you can give him somewhere in that, top 45, around that range, I think we could really see a, what potential does Tommy actually have?
Jared Gordon is ranked number 40 on Tapology currently, so I'm not mad at that at all. And he's coming off losses. So like anybody else in the top 50 that's on a multiple win streak, think a Cal Fernandez, Mike Beast Boy Davis, even though it's only one, Mason the Dragon Jones, which it's so long it runs off into the next fucking thing. You have to click on his page to see when his last loss was. Like that guy, Usman Nurmagomedov, who's not in the UFC, but if he was, it would be a hard fucking no. Like those guys, no. But yeah, outside of the top 40 or right at the top 40, like a Jared Flash Gordon, I'm not mad at that at all. Another name that I didn't think of until I looked up Jared Gordon, I'm just going to call a spade here, is, dude, how fun would this fight be? Kyle the Monster Nelson.
Ooh. He's a dog.
I think it's between that and Jared Gordon for me now.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see something with more of a grappling edge versus someone like I think there would be just a lot of control from Tommy in that fight. But that's just me. But I like
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Nano just missing the Cuban link chain and toothpick in his mouth that he would look like he's protected turf. Brother, make no mistake about it. The Cuban link chain and the toothpick are not there. But he's protecting turf at all fucking times. The MMA anomaly turf. That's my fucking enforcer, boys. Damn, Pip all professional with it. You know what I'm saying? Brother, if Pip wasn't taking all the meat off the bone, who would? You feel me, brother? Come on with it.
True.
Oh, man. Speaking of coming on with it, Ketlen Vieira, Jacqueline Cavalcante. It's crazy because like the ones that I got wrong are ones that we agreed on, right? Like, and the ones I got wrong are the ones that I switched and listened to you fucks. Oh man. We're gonna get into that next. With that being said, you know what, Pip? I think I'll let you take some meat off the bone on this one. What were your thoughts on Jacqueline Cavalcante versus Ketlen Vieira?
What you did, the little emote you had right at the start pretty much sums it up. It was not my favorite fight on the card. It was a fight. It happened on Paramount. It happened on Saturday night. But
it was certainly a fight of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like a very slow-paced fight. I mean, both girls just with a lot of feints, a lot of hand fighting. Nano looking like prime George Masvidal. Shout out Based Aqua. It's a good shout. It's a good shout.
That's fair. It's fair.
Ben, you better count your days.
I mean, Vieira was just kind of, slowly being able to find range in that pocket. I mean, the left hooks were getting through. And she was starting to land that right straight behind him. She clipped Cavalcante bad at the end of the first round. And then we just saw her mix up her grappling a little bit. She kind of just, controlled her against the cage. She did have good entries. And Cavalcante really just showed that she had, sloppy submission attempts, bad, reversal attempts. And Vieira was able to just kind of, get most of that round in control. And by the third, she just knew she was ahead. She fought at rage. She popped the jab. We did see a little bit more activity from Cavalcante, but it just wasn't enough to really get anything going. She had most of her success really in the last 1 to 2 minutes of that fight, but Vieira was able to edge it out on the scorecards for what was a very lackluster fight, in my opinion. But MMA Anomaly, did you have any thoughts at all on this fight, brother?
Not a ton. Not a ton. Other than, we were fucking wrong. I'll be honest with you. I thought maybe the judges could have got this one wrong. Watching the fight, and maybe I had rose-colored lenses, I thought Cavalcante did enough to win. And then after watching the fight, to my surprise, I thought maybe I had rose-colored lenses. I went and looked at the stats. 72-66 on total strikes, 53-30 on significant strikes, both in favor of Cavalcante, and then 1 of 4 takedowns landed to 0 of 0 attempted in favor of Ketlen Vieira. So the only thing she outlanded her on was takedowns. But I thought Cavalcante was landing the more significant strikes throughout the fight, whether from the top or the bottom. I thought she was working harder, doing more, and I thought the judges got it wrong.
Barely.
You know what I mean? It was a close fight. It was a close fight, but I just thought that Jacqueline Cavalcante did just enough
Barely.
to win. But then again, maybe.
But I cannot see. I'm legally blind.
Who's to say? Who's to check? Nano, what'd you think, bro?
Nice, brother. I felt like Ketlen Vieira did enough. Even though the striking differential was leaning Jacqueline Cavalcante, I think she was just more of the busy fighter. But when you look at the takedowns and then you just kind of look at those first couple rounds there, to your point, Jacqueline might have had a chance, but that's why you don't leave it to the judges' scorecard. You want to make yourself the obvious choice. You want to potentially take some more chances. But I do just think that the strength and the grappling and just Ketlen's overall presence was what kind of led her to victory here in the judges' eyes. But it was a fight, and it happened Saturday night, as Pip said.
Yeah, it was certainly a UFC fight of all time. I love posting that, and then people will not read it 100%, and then they'll argue with me on Twitter. Like, Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou was a UFC fight of all time. And they're like, no, it fucking wasn't. I'm like, it was. It was a fight that happened in the UFC. This was another one of those, folks. It was a fight. It happened. It took place in the UFC. It was a UFC fight of all time.
I never said
and Nato
great.
and Pip, just to point out, round by round. Round 1, 11-24 on significant strikes in favor of Jacqueline Cavalcante. Round 3, 28-17 significant strikes in favor of Jacqueline Cavalcante. Round 2, 2-1 significant strikes in terms of Ketlen Vieira. I had Ketlen Vieira winning the second round, right? She got 4 minutes and 42 seconds of control time in round number 2. That was all the control time she got in the entire fight. I don't know. I thought the judges got this one wrong, but again, it was razor thin. So I'm not going to call Jerry Springer. I'm not going to ask him to mediate. Okay. It's just not worth it. Right. It'd be my death. And I'm not here for that. So I simply ask Pip, my guy, take a little more meat off the bone, would you? Who do you have next for Ketlen Vieira?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of piggyback off your point, though, I will say I felt like Ketlen did take rounds 1 and 2. She just landed a bigger shot. I think it was that right hand that got through at round 1 that Caitlin, I thought, took that one. And then just the control time in round 2. So it just felt like more harder shots, and then just the control in the second round took it. But what do I want to see next for Vieira? There's not much for her. I feel like she's already fought a lot of that competition. So the only one that I thought made sense to me was Juliana Pena. I mean, give her that. Let's run that. What did you get?
Ooh, I like that. Juliana Pena is a great shout. Nano, did you have a name on the tip of your tongue for her?
Oh man, I mean, not necessarily, but I will say that might be a little too rich for my blood. But it sounded like you liked it, MMAnomaly. What are you thinking over there, brother?
I'm not mad at that. If it's not going to be her, I think Norma Dumont coming off a loss.
Didn't they just fight though? I feel like.
Oh no, they did, didn't they? Are you right? Hold on.
I feel like I'm right, but I could be wrong. But I feel like I'm right.
I think you are. You know what? She won a split decision against Ketlen. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, fight
That's
sucked.
not the fight to make. All right, I'm back to yours. I mean, fucking geez Louise, my guy. Outside of that, the only other option is Raquel Pennington. A little Rocky action.
I like that.
I'm not mad at that.
You also said,
Yeah.
I hate Ketlen Vieira. That Fortnite sound effect. You like that, brother? Let's go. Yeah. I'm not a big Ketlen Vieira fan either. Oh, man. Yeah, I like Pip's decision or Raquel Pennington. I think those are probably the only realistic fights to make. And you know what? Man, Cody Brundage versus Andre Petroski. I feel like I said Cody Brundage might get back into the win column in this one. You boys, you fucking boys. I'd like to say you talked me off a ledge because that's usually the case, but this simply was not that. It was, what's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of, you made me walk the plank. Thanks, Pip, for the nudge. He gave me a friendly nudge towards the plank on this one. I changed 2 of my picks in my underdogs competition after talking to you guys. And one of my worst picks, I will not be doing that again. I love you boys. I really do. But God, when I listen to me, I like overall, I do better. I'm wrong on a handful, but I like the way I do. So, yeah, a classic Petroski glass chin performance. Here's a fun story. I'm actually going to pour a shot for this one because this is just retarded in the best way. We went to see Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev live in Newark, New Jersey a couple years ago. And that same week, Helwani happened to be doing, I think, one of his first live shows, if not his first live show. And so I was like, dude, I love Helwani. I'm going to get tickets. We went. and it was at like a theater. So they had like the ground seating and they had the little like overhead seating. Andre Petroski showed up in the top section and he was shithouse drunk. Like incredibly drunk. And maybe like an hour and a half into the show, he just started heckling Helwani. And it was a lot of fun. They had a little back and forth. It was a good time. Poatan was also there. He taught Helwani how to do the little step and like, fucking, bow and arrow shot. But that night, I kind of realized Petroski is probably not the guy to bet on. And then I saw him at the fights the next night. You're not going to believe this, boys. He was shithoused. Yeah. So was Joe Pyfer. But hey, be Joe Pyfer. Man, I should have just went with my gut on this one, and like just breaking down the fight from a just clear eye standpoint. Cody Brundage just seemed to be a step ahead of him. Andre Petroski seemed to be very hesitant in the octagon on Saturday night. He seemed to be a little bit more lackluster than usual, and he didn't shoot in on the takedowns as he usually does. Like he attempted one takedown, he got one takedown. He should have done that again in the first 10 to 35 seconds of the first round or second round, and he probably would have avoided a situation that happened, right? Like, I mean, if he would have done more takedowns in the first round, sapped the energy of Cody Brundage, made him fight a little bit more defensively, press the range, he probably would have had a much better showing out there, but he simply didn't. And that is a shitty situation, but I got it wrong, even though originally I possibly would have gotten it right. Pip, I'm going to not jump to you first. No, I'm jumping to you first. Before I do that, cheers to you folks. If you're drinking, drink with us. If not, that's fine too. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications. Cheers.
Salud.
No, what you got?
Yeah, so this was you really set the stage for us. All I can really say is my bad. I thought the wrestler was gonna win this one. I thought the guy that I felt maybe had a little bit more of a chin, frankly, but I think like we saw in the comment section here, just a classic Petroski glass chin performance. And Cody Brundage is a knockout artist. He's someone that wants to go out there and make it violent. And I mean, Andre had some exciting moments. I mean, frankly, I thought he won the first round. He got the takedown. He outstruck Cody Brundage. But like we found out in this game before, all it takes is one punch to really change up the whole fabric of the fight. And Cody Brundage was able to go out there and find it. Curious to hear Pip and what he saw in terms of the X's and O's are concerned. But shout out Cody Brundage, man, continuing to earn his keep here in the UFC octagon. And as MMAnomaly suggested, I'm all for working hard, playing hard, but go out there and get the W's first, and then we celebrate after. Okay, get your priorities straight, Petroski. Come on, brother. Come on, man. Pip, what'd you see out there, brother?
I mean, just to add to Yusuful's points over there in the comments, I mean, I don't know why I picked Petroski. I don't know why I picked him either. It just felt like Brundage has these really bad IQ moments, but fuck, I mean, Petroski just... his are a lot worse. And to add to your point, Nato, I mean, like you said, I mean, Petroski was looking good in round one. I mean, the knees to the body, he was chapping at that calf. The Brundage secured the takedowns when Brundage went in for that gilly, and Petroski just really controlled the whole first round. And I mean, he did show an opening for Brundage though throughout that first round. He had that lead hand hanging down, and it really just invited Brundage in. And as soon as the second round started,
bless you, Nano.
Bless you. Brundage clipped Petroski with a right overhand, and that left hook just came behind it, and he just unloaded shots from top. And Petroski was done after that left hook landed, and Petroski really just shelled up, and Brundage got it done. But great birthday performance for the birthday boy, and a great TKO to get back in the win column. Raiders, cheers to you, brother. But yeah, that was essentially my 2 cents on it. It was we saw Brundage go out there and do his thing, honestly. But MMAnomaly, what you got?
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, he looked really good out there. He, like I said before, he just seemed to be a little bit of a step ahead everywhere that the fight went. Nano, I'll let you take the lead on this one. Did you have a name on the tip of your tongue for Brundage?
There is. And I think it's because they've given Cody Brundage an undefeated wrestling phenom and just potential star in the UFC. I think I want to see another one. And I'm talking about the real hunter. I'm talking about a Baisangur Sasukaev. My apologies. Got a little excited there. I think Baisangur is a good, proper shout. Cody Brundage is someone that's continuing to answer the bell and willing to take any opponent, does not care about their record or their pedigree. Why not give him another wrestler? I like Baisangur or someone in that top 40-ish range. I just like the idea that both of them are coming off wins and both of them want to continue to get closer to that top 15, but it does start with stacking W's together. So that's where I'm looking. What do y'all got? Bit? Anybody top of mind?
Marco Tulio was the only name that kind of stood out to me, but that was about it, really.
Pip took my name. Fucking guy.
That happens.
Yeah, I had Marco Tulio or Rodolfo Bellato. Rodolfo Vieira. But I liked Marco Tulio a lot better.
Agreed.
Both guys are coming off of 2 losses back to back. I think it makes a lot of sense. They're both sitting in the top, 35, 40. It just makes a lot of sense. And this guy's on the up and up. He's coming off a win. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of love of fun, women's strawweight division. Alice Arderlean. That's it. Alice Arderlean. I've been saying it wrong the entire time. Thanks, John Anik. Shout out for correcting me on that. Alice Arderlean versus Polyana Viana. It was a fun fight for as long as it lasted, but man, did we see a first-time submission in the UFC. Pip, I'm going to let you break down the X's and O's first. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, both of these girls really just started off with a scrap. I mean, Alice was rushing in forward, landing hard right hands. And I will have to mention that I don't really know how bad the first one hurt her, the first one that landed. But at the start of the round, Polyana kind of contested of an eye poke. And she looked very stunned. And we saw on the replay that it was just a clean right overhand that landed. And we were already kind of bitching about the refs enough. But it was just because they weren't really doing enough. They weren't doing enough. And essentially, we kind of had this weird moment where it hurt Polyana, but the ref stopped the momentum. So it was kind of one of those things where we saw the ref, they can get too into the fight. They can kind of really trust the fighter over
a little too involved.
Yeah, a little too involved, if you will. But I digress. I mean, Alice got back in the pocket. She landed really good shots. Even dropped Polyana at one point with the right hook. And feinting that left and just landing that right early and often. And Polyana landed some slicey elbows, as DC like to call them during the fight. Just decent body kicks as well. But Alice really just stayed on the pressure. I mean, Polyana stood tall, just tried to lean back, but Alice was too close. It rocked Polyana multiple times. Alice got the takedown really just off a poorly timed knee from Polyana. And in that second round, Polyana decided to throw the body triangle. And this is really what set up the capsule lock submission is what they were calling it. And this was a new one for me. But basically, she had that triangle on her back, and Polyana had her left foot blocking Alice's hips, so she couldn't really get out of full guard. She was just stuck in that body triangle. But it was really a beautiful technique from what we saw from Alice. She was able to move her hip just past the foot. It basically used her hips kind of posturing back exactly, putting all that pressure on the knee that Polyana had lacked in. And like I said, first ever capsule lock submission, and probably the only one that we'll probably see in the UFC for quite some time. But that's now 3 in a row. I think Alice is definitely someone to keep an eye on. But Nana, what'd you think of this first time submission?
Honestly, I thought it was an injury, and I guess to me it still kind of feels like that's what happened, but I didn't realize it was an intentional submission. So it's news to me. It's exciting, but as I was watching it unfold, I thought, oh, that's unfortunate. Her leg got stuck underneath her opponent, but it was hell of a freaking submission. I don't know if we'll see it again, to be honest. At least not in quite some time. MMAnomaly, do you have a similar reaction, or were you privy to what was going on there on the ground? Talk to the people.
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. I was not privy watching it at first. But But I did go back and rewatch it probably 15 to 20 times. And what I did notice is there was a moment where Alice was on top of her. She was throwing hammer fists, and Alice feels that she has the body triangle locked from the bottom position, right? So for those of you that don't know, like the body triangle, you throw one leg up, you wrap the other leg around. This is essentially what your leg looks like, right? You have the knee lock around your foot. It's actually closer to this. So your foot has a little bit of wiggle room underneath. So what she ended up doing is she trapped her opponent's foot under her own positioning. And then when she postured up, it put all of the weight of her and her opponent, right? So if we're looking at the weight classes here, they're women's strawweight, so they're 115 pounds. So let's just think about this for a moment, right, Nano? Since you said you didn't understand the positioning. You're 115 pounds, I'm 115 pounds. So together we're 230 pounds. Realistically, add 20 pounds each of us to that. So now we are 270 pounds. I'm putting 270 pounds of pressure without the force that I'm applying in leaning back, all on your ankle. So your ankle is breaking around that brace, right? You put yourself in that position, and then I finished it. So like it kind of goes back to Pantoja versus Joshua Van, right? Like you threw a higher kick, body or head. I caught it. I high elevated. You fell wrong, and then you dislocated your shoulder. Did I win because I popped your shoulder out, or did I win because of a weird technical difficulty? No. You fell wrong. I forced that, right? So I leaned back. If Arderlean does not lean back, that this does not happen. And she stated that she saw this submission. This is my favorite part of this, on TikTok or Instagram. She saw it on social media from a BJJ content creator and was like, oh. And then she saw an opportunity for this. The closest thing to this that I can recall, Nano and Pip, in recent MMA memory is when Israel Adesanya made his UFC debut, or maybe it was his second fight against Brad Tavares in the UFC. And then he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he's like, man, you were throwing those like hatchet elbows and they were landing. Like, I've never seen you throw those before. Is that something that you worked in practice and training? And Adesanya is like, no, I saw the movie Ong Bak though. And I remember Ong Bak was hitting them elbows. And I saw the way that Tavares was holding his guard. And I was like, man, them Ong Bak elbows would probably hit. And so I attempted one and it cracked his shit open. So I threw it like 10 more times. He never worked that before. He saw it in a movie. This bitch saw it online, on Instagram, on TikTok, and was like, cool. And then in the middle of a fight, she had the wherewithal to be like, oh, there it is. There's the opening. And Nano, after this show, and listeners, I don't want you to disengage right now. Keep watching. We're almost done. We're home stretch. But as soon as the show wraps up, well, not as soon as, right after you leave a comment after the show wraps up, I want you to go and watch the replay and pay attention to right before her opponent screams and then taps. Not taps, screams in pain and then taps. Watch what Alice Arderlean does with her leg. She pins it. She pins it and then she rocks back. It's not a rock back. It's a pin and then rock back. The fact that she pins it is what puts all that pressure on that foot, right? Like, it's like Bruce Lee said, focus or you'll miss all that glory. You know what I mean? Like, you got to pay attention to the finite details because this was a beautiful submission. And fun fact, for those of you that don't know, that are listening at home, that heard it called a capsule lock and were like, why the fuck do they call it a capsule lock? Are they fans of Trunks from Dragon Ball Z? Maybe they are, but it's because the rounded part of your knee is called the kneecap or the knee capsule. And that is separating your knee capsule from consciousness the same way that Ilia Topuria does it with a fucking left hook, boys. So it was a fantastic submission. It was a fantastic finish. And as Nano alluded to so eloquently, it's the first time we saw it in UFC history and probably the last time we'll see it for some time. I just don't think that we'll see this again for a very long time. Maybe it was Pip that actually said that, but either way, whoever said it, just a gifted fucking quote. Goated quote. Who do you have next on the tip of your tongue for Alice Arderlean Pip?
Yeah, I mean, even just to add a little bit more to that submission point there, I mean, it really is an interesting technique, and I mean, it's kind of the same reason. And if there's any really heavy BJJ guys in the chat, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but typically when we see these capsule locks, they'll be from a mistake of kind of having your legs wrapped around while on the back. Instead of having them kind of hooked into the legs, you'll see as soon as people like make that mistake or they have their feet over each other to kind of hold the back a little bit well, they'll just put their legs over top of their legs and basically press down on the ankles, and it does a similar effect from what we saw. So yes, after the show, after you like the comment or whatever, go back, watch that fight, and then also just look up a genuine capsule lock submission, and you'll see a handful of breakdowns on it from why it is so effective and some of the mistakes not to make.
Pip, I will agree with you and allude to the fact that this was essentially like in sexual talk, there's a sub and a dom. I think there's like a sub version and a dom version of almost every submission. And the one that you're talking about is more the dom version. Like, I'm going to force your shit in.
Yeah.
Versus this was the sub version. Like, oh, you're giving it to me? Sick. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. For sure.
There's other ways, right? Like, we've seen arm bars where somebody reaches around to try and defend, and then you just catch that arm under your armpit and you wrap like this and you lay back. And it's the one arm yank and crank. It's still an arm bar, but it's not this, where Ronda Rousey leans back and hugs it into her chest cavity. There's a submissive and a dominant version of every submission. So I will say, like, yes, I agree. Because I heard capsule lock, and the first thing I did was like, YouTube capsule lock.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not what this looked like at all.
Not the same thing. Not the same thing. But somewhat of similar principle. It's just like when you start talking about the anaconda
it worked the same
darts.
joint, but the setup was completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way it's kind of like the way that they're teaching math in schools now versus when we were kids. It's like, okay, I get it. 4 + 4 is 8. We get the same answer. But I don't fucking understand how you got there.
Just a
Like, your
different
math
route.
is weird.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, as far as what I want to see next for Alice, I mean, Tisha Pennington kind of makes sense just right off the top of my head. But because I have been really liking these losers of and Based Aqua, about to watch Ong Bak and then apply the moves at the gym. For sure. Izzy made it work. I'm sure you could do it too. But because I have been liking these losers of matchups that Uncle Owen's been doing, get ready for this one. What about Klein versus Rebus, the loser of that fight?
Ooh, I like that a lot. I actually like that a lot. Nano, what are you thinking, bro?
That was definitely a solid shout. The only one I had was the problem child. I'm looking at it. Talita Alencar coming on a 3-fight win streak. I mean, that's one I had circled. But man, a lot of good options here for Alice Alderlean. There you go.
Arderlean. I'm not mad at it at all, bro. I really fucking like your pick. What's funny, and you'll appreciate this, my guy, I hope. I had the same thing but different. Same, but still different, but still same. I had a loser match. So hear me out on this one before you shut me down here, Pip. Loser of Jacqueline Amarim versus Lumaluk Bomi.
Ooh, that's coming up too. I think that's next week.
Ooh,
I like
that instant response,
I like that, brother.
You said, ooh. Hold on now. That's kind of spicy.
That was so spicy, I got a little zesty from it. I'm excited for it.
Ooh. And look, I'll never say this again. This is the first and last time I will ever say this. I kind of hope Lumaluk Bomi loses, if that's the case. That's just like Lumalook Bomi versus Ellis Arderlean. Like, sign me up. That's a fun fight, dude.
I like that one. Yeah,
because she's got
my
great
matchup,
scrambling and her sprawling. Lumalook Bomi is so good. She'll force Arderlean to fight on her feet. I want to see what that looks like. What happens when she can't take you down? Like, we haven't seen it in 3 fights.
True.
I'm here for it, bro. I'm here for it. Speaking of things that I'm here for, Lewis, welcome to Burger King. Gurule coming in against Daniel Barres. I called this one. I did call this one. I can't remember which side were you guys on this one. Were you thinking Gurule?
I was picking Perez, man, and it let me down again.
Damn. You know, I thought that was the case, but I didn't want to rub it in. You know, Nano, who were you with on this one?
I don't even remember, to be honest. We might have all been on the same. I feel like me and Pip were aligned a lot last week, so
you sure as fuck were. I'm glad I didn't follow you on this one. Nano, what were your thoughts here?
Oh, man. I mean, this was a proper bout, man. I just felt like Luis was the tougher guy. Obviously, he went out there, got the decision win, outstruck his opponent. But both guys just reminded me of why I love this flyweight division. I mean, you're getting nothing but high-level striking on both ends, and you're getting a lot of durability from both guys. So it gives them both a chance.
He only outstruck him by 60 strikes, bro.
Only 60 over the course of 3 minutes there. It's about 20 around if you want to get technical. But it felt closer. And I think a lot of that was on the last 2 rounds as far as the big gap and the striking differential. But the Spaniard, man, Daniel Barres, I think he's tough as nails, but Luis just was a little bit tougher. Tougher tattoos. They look sick. But also just his tenacity in there is the word I was looking for. But I won't be the one to bore y'all with the X's and O's. Pitt, I know you saw some interesting striking here. What did you see? How'd you break it down?
Oh, I'll definitely try to break it down and bore you out. But, I mean, definitely, it felt like a high-level fight, honestly, from one thing that I just kind of did not expect. I mean, we saw everything from just good boxing, from good clinch work, even some crazy BJJ scrambles and submission attempts. And maybe it's just because they are flyweights and coming off of the Caliari fight, which we'll get into, but it was definitely a great fight. I mean, Gurule had just a really good game plan, and it was just to overwhelm Perez with pressure, and he did just that. I mean, Perez isn't the boxer when he can be when he's on the back foot, but Perez had a big problem of sticking his arms out in front of him, and because of that, I mean, Perez was getting punched in the face like a lot. And the right hands were just getting right over the arm. I mean, landing flush. It really just had a lot of pressure in the pocket. And you saw moments where Perez kind of slowed the momentum. He would land the takedown, climbed on the back, dragged him down. But, with that being said, I mean, Gurule was able to roll out, and he did hunt for the choke for a little bit. Or he was able to kind of catch the body kicks, got some knees and elbows off of him. Just these exchanges to really just slow the momentum down of Gurule, just engaging in the clinch, trying to tie up Gurule or shooting takedowns. But that's really all he had was just, like I said, moments to just slow the pace. And that's really all he brought. And Gurule was just getting back into rhythm every time it started picking back up. I mean, Perez landed a few good straights down the middle. It stunned Gurule a few times to, make him think, but it wasn't enough to deter Gurule from just backing away. I mean, he kept walking forward. Perez would try to push him away. Gurule would just cut angles, land left hooks and right hands, elbows that got through. He almost broke Perez's neck with that suplex that he landed in the second round. My God, was that nasty. By the end of the third round, I mean, Gurule was just styling on Perez. I mean, slipping shots, 1-2s down the middle, slick right hand counters, deflecting Perez's shots actually with the forearm. And it was pretty much just a boxing clinic, and he got the UD win. It was a very impressive performance from Gurule, and he just showed that he does belong in the UFC, and he is making improvements. But Nano, what'd you get?
Nano did his already.
My fault.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's okay. I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
Kind of
as far as like mixing it up. MMAnomaly, bring us home, brother. Come on.
Oh man. No, there's not a whole lot to add. I mean, both of you guys took most of the meat off the bone. If I dare flash both pictures here, I mean, there's no meat left for your boy after all.
That was a perfect transition. It looked like he straight up stole it.
It's like, give me that motherfucker.
I said, this motherfucker.
That was my motherfucking meat, dog. What the fuck? No, there's not a lot of meat left on the bone here, if I'm being completely candid. Luis Gurule did everything I thought he was going to do. Pip said he was out there. He was landing a lot of shots to the head. It's okay, Pip. It was only 153 of them. Only 153 of them. But who's counting? Who did the math? Not me. I digress. Yeah, it was a boxing clinic. It was not one-way traffic, but there was definitely a cross guard there, and he was favoring one side more than the other, if you know what I'm saying. Luis Gurule went out there and did the damn thing. He looked really fucking good in the flyweight division, and I got to tell you, I really like watching these flyweight fights just because the skill level that these guys have. If you're drunk, you have to close one eye. Otherwise, you feel like you're watching a fucking episode of Dragon Ball Z. Just, again, call it a spade here. You know what I'm talking about. The fucking strikes are fucking blurred and shit. You're like, whoa, these motherfuckers really are going Super Saiyan out there. That's crazy. No. Since you went first, even though Pip forgot about you, what were your thoughts on who should be next for Mr. Burger King himself, Mr. Gurule? Thanks for choosing Burger King.
Love the name, first off. Gurule. As I would respond there to your question. No, man, there's a few names. I don't want to go too high. To answer my first question, we'd like to start off with is, should we skyrocket him up to the top of, the cream of the crop, if you will? And I'm not necessarily ready to do that, but I would not look too much farther than someone like a lazy boy, Ronaldo Rodriguez, coming off a loss. I don't typically love pairing someone that come off and win with the loss, but lazy boy is someone I just want to see back out there. He only fought once last year. He did lose. This was in 2025. Get back out. If not, maybe someone like a Lucas Pinomeno Roca, who did recently fight and beat a Stuart Nicolle, 18-2 record, continuing to trend the right direction. Tough matchup for a Grim, aka Grim Reaper. But what do y'all think?
Pip, what you got?
The only other shot that I was thinking is, as our boy Sterling likes to call him, Flippy Buns. I think could be a fun fight.
I'm not mad at Flippy Buns, bro. Flippy Buns is actually a pretty good fucking shout. Man, Flippy Buns actually might be the move. Let's see here. Who do we have in the top 50? That makes a lot of fucking sense. Ooh. Hold on. Where's he ranked currently? Oh, yeah. Perfect. This is literally perfect. Okay. All right, Pip. This one's for you, kid. Since you love the loser of decisions, Ray Saruya, Japan's own, versus Jesus Aguilar. Give him the loser.
Yeah.
I like that fight.
I wouldn't mind seeing Aguilar run that.
I love you so much that you said Aguilar, bro.
Hell yeah.
My guy still has hope for Japan's Ray Saruya.
So you're saying there's a chance?
The memeability of this guy, Ray, it's so good, bro. Like, he fought his older brother in the streets. Like, there's so much tape that you can use for promo packages. We need Ray to win this one. Pip, thank you for choosing the right side in this historic discussion.
Absolutely.
When people look back, Pip can say, I was on the right side of history here. Okay, folks.
I told you so.
Speaking of saying, I told you so, I was on the right side of history. Thanks for the segue there, Pip. We're going to jump into this next fight. It was Shauna Bannon versus Nicolle Caliari. And let me tell you, Caliari fried Shauna Bannon like she was some fried calamari. Okay, boys. I called it. I called it last week. Pip, what do you have to say about this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Caliari had just a great performance, getting her first win in the UFC, got the arm triangle, got the tap in round 3, but I mean, it was just kind of a dominant start for round 1. I mean, landed really good right straights as Bannon was kind of rushing in, got the headlock throw and was able to gain control for the rest of the round. But once Caliari just found that path, it was just a rinse and repeat victory. I mean, she started out fast, got the body lock, got the takedown, grinded a lot of control, pushed Banan head and neck against the fence. She just wasn't really able to get out, and she landed some good elbows from the top. And about halfway through the second round, we saw just Caliari was starting to looking a little bit more fatigued. I mean, Banny was landing the body kick, stuffing the takedowns. Caliari almost got the back, but ending up sitting a little too high, grabbing the arm of Banan. And Caliari was just on her back, controlled the rest of the round. And then in the third round, Caliari just got back into range. I mean, landing those stiff jabs, did some work in the pocket, really got the right eye of Bannon swelled up. And we saw Bannon at the end of the second when she went back in. I mean, her eye was just a mess. She was trying to go for that hip toss, but Caliari just used the momentum, rotated the hips to end up on top. Caliari targeted that right eye of Bannon when she was on the ground, started setting up the arm triangle from half guard as Bannon was trying to rotate, and Caliari was just able to get into side control, got the tap, but it was a much-needed win for Caliari, so she's now got 9 wins. 4 of them, 5 of them are by knockout, and 4 of them are by submission, so she's just showing that she's a very versatile mixed martial artist when she's in the cage. But Nano, what'd you think?
I'm Ron Burgundy. Oh, great breakdown, brother. Yeah, I just felt like Nicolle Caliari was just the better fighter. I mean, Shauna Bannon had some moments, but Nicole really asserted her presence early on in the fight and just didn't let go of it. To get a third round submission win, to still have the wherewithal to have an opponent in front of you who was really active when it comes to the striking, just didn't really look like it did a lot of damage. Again, Caliari looked strong. I mean, her physique certainly suggested that she was in great shape. And just by the way she was throwing Shauna Bannon around and, again, able to maintain dominant position, even though Shauna was the busier fighter from a total strikes perspective. Got it done. Hell of a performance. Great way to kickstart the card, and great feather in the cap here to continue to use the same phrase. And MMAnomaly brings home, brother. What'd you see?
Pip, Nano, you ever have a friend that just like talks and talks and talks? Don't say me. Just to talk though. Like they're not making any valid points. They're just talking. They're just wasting air. They're just wasting breath. Kind of like I'm doing right now. That's what Shauna Bannon was doing, right? She landed 158 to 50 total strikes. It's impressive. It's a 3-1 differential. Anybody that reads that stat would be like, holy fuck, Shauna Bannon whooped her ass. But then you look at the significant strikes and you're like, okay, cool. 29 to 20. 29 to 20 compared to 150 to over 150 to 50. That to me tells me that one woman was being far more efficient with her strikes, because let me ask you, Nano, 158 strikes landed, 29 of them are significant. It's not a super high percentage, right? Like just quick maths, as Big Shaq would say. And then you look into the opposition and you ask yourself, okay, well, 50 out of 20, that's fairly easy math, right? Like that's a little under half. It's a little under 50% compared to less than a third or a fourth even. Yeah. Caliari was the more efficient fighter, the more efficient striker, and she out-grappled her opponent to get the win. And that should tell you everything you need to know about A, Nicolle Caliari, as well as B, Shauna Mama Bannon. Shauna Bannon is really fun to watch. She throws a lot of strikes. She has kind of a Taekwondo style point fighting striking style where she mixes in takedowns, but Caliari is the total package. So I just thought it was a rinse, wash, and repeat kind of performance for her. She looked really good out there. Looked like she was the more composed and better planned fighter. She had a game plan, and it showed. Pip, who do you think should be next for Nicolle Caliari in this one?
I was thinking maybe a Chanel Dyer, or maybe even Marina Rodriguez, who's kind of I don't even think she's at the top 15 anymore. So I think it could be a a good chance for her to go up against either one of those girls. But did you have any names on the tip of your tongue?
I'll be honest. In a dream world, tomorrow morning, Stamp Fairtex gets signed to the UFC after breaching her contract with ONE FC, and they make that fight happen. But we live in reality, so that's never going to fucking happen. Instead, I would really like to see her fight. Honestly, I think Polyana Viana would be a fun fight for her. Right? Polyana Viana is ranked pretty heftily above her. She's coming off 3 back-to-back losses. It just makes a lot of sense. Outside of that, maybe you give her Ariane Carnellosi. It's another fun fight. Solid grappler, or rather well-rounded women's fighter. I think she'd provide a little bit more tests for her. Nano, do you have another name?
Yeah, well, great names, both of y'all, and great breakdowns, and just a great episode overall. I'm going to do what you did earlier. I'm going to stall a little bit. But no, all jokes aside, I'd like a Julia Psycho Pilastri. Coming off a loss in 2026, 28 years young. Going to want to get back out there.
That a lot.
I think
that's it.
That might be the one.
That is.
You know what? Oftentimes when people stall, you talk shit. You're like, why the fuck are you stalling, you piece of shit? In this case, you're like, hey, great fucking job stalling, bro. It was worth the wait. We'll end on that because that's a great fucking ending note, folks. Nano coming up with the best pick there for the last fight. Pilastri, I just think makes a lot of sense. And folks, we appreciate you for being here. Whether you started right now or you started at the very beginning or you're watching on replay, anything in between, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And if you're not watching on replay, refresh and leave us a little comment. Let us know what your favorite part of the show was, maybe what your least favorite part of the show was, what you'd like to see us improve on, or maybe just tell us whether or not you are and anything in between. Either way, we appreciate you all for being here. And if you do none of the things that we've asked you to do for the last 2 hours and 20 minutes, all that we really truly care about, folks, all that we really ask you to do is that you keep on going and you keep on growing. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.